I was just saying.
Thank you, Jim.
I was on time because you guys are always like so ready to go. I'm the one rolling late.
Well, we have the physical copies, packets.
That would be great.
So take one of each. They're in piles.
Oh, I see. Well, I read through all of it last night. Those are the ones I want.
This one wasn't in there last night and neither were those.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's Cinco and Sunshine.
All right.
How many should there be then?
Well, those are most-
I have 7.
Speed reading.
There were 7 in the Dropbox, right?
I believe so, but there was one that was duplicated.
Correct. Yeah, I saw that.
I need this one.
1, 2.
Where do you want me? Left or right of you?
7.
All the way up.
Way we can look at each other, right?
Yeah.
Do we have any water?
No. I know I could probably use some myself.
Oh,
We're ready, Jeff, all right?
yes.
All right, let's call this meeting to order. LTAC, today's November 13th at 4:05 PM. Start with roll call. We got Mr. Tom Denley here and Sierra Foster, and we have Monica Niemeyer on Zoom joining us and myself. So we have a quorum. Active agenda. We don't have an active agenda online, but we sure do have some work, before us. So we'll get started with something that I wanted to bring before the LTAC committee. And that is the Sunnyside signature events. So currently we have Cinco de Mayo, Sunshine Days, and Implemented Parade as a signature event. There was a conversation before council that AleFest wanted to be considered to be a signature event. So council left it before LTAC. We're going to make a recommendation. We're going to talk about it today and send a recommendation to council so they could decide as a whole. Do you have any questions? We could start with that item.
Is it possible for us to, it looks like you have the balance here, which I don't have.
Yeah, this is what we went over yesterday for the budget. So we have actuals for 2024 and what was appropriated for 2025, and then the proposed for 2026. So for 2026, we have 120 for LTAC. We could definitely use some that's in our fund balance. We have a healthy beginning fund balance of 205,000. So that's going to be up to the LTAC committee to see if we want to use more than the 120 for 2026.
Clarification.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Is the 205,000, is that including the portion for LTAC? Is that the whole balance in total, or is it in addition to?
The 205 beginning balance for 2026?
Correct.
And what was your question? If it includes what?
If it includes the 120 portion for LTAC, I wasn't sure if those were kept in like
No.
separate line items.
No, so so the beginning balance, it's 205,000. And then we're projecting revenue of 120, which is what we have as a budget to spend for 2026. If we want to increase the 120, I know in years past, we've spent a little bit more for the events.
Okay.
Did I answer the question?
Yes, but honestly, it gave me another question. The projected revenue is not 120,000, I thought, per JLARC. Isn't it more along like 60 or 80? So how do we navigate that? Or has it been looked at more closely?
Monica?
Did I break up? I'm sorry.
Oh, the other Monica.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Monica.
I forget. Sorry.
Yeah, I did look at the tax coming in and did a little deeper dive into it. I projected it should be around 120. I think that's a safe number. With the beginning balance, I think that as long as you're not trying to use all of it at once, then you're pretty safe.
Okay.
I mean, I
I'm-
wouldn't say, yeah, just spend $105,000 or $305,000, go for it. I would say that why don't conserve some of that.
And,
Well,
and
the
I'm
100
I'm going off,
100
so my apologies, Monica. I'm going off memory, and I guess I should have looked first. But I do recall JLARC only bringing in like projected revenue anywhere between like 60, I want to say 63 and like 93. So I was just wondering, but costs go up, things go up. And I could be way off, so I should have looked at that first before I commented. My apologies.
I can illuminate a little bit here. That 120,000 is lodging tax revenue for the period 2025. Actually, 2026 is what you're.
Yeah.
So that represents $3 million in hotel revenues. $3 million times 4% is going to be $120,000. And
Oh, wow.
I think that's a reasonable estimate. Just
Okay.
knowing what I know of what we're doing, I don't know
Mhm.
what the other properties are doing, but I think that's a very reasonable estimate. Might be a little low, which would be good.
Oh, yeah,
course, conservative.
absolutely.
I was trying
Thank
to
you,
be.
Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
Thank you for
going back
being
to the
proactive,
question,
Monica. I appreciate that.
going back to the question, Elfest, making it a signature event. We have any questions, concerns on?
signature events, I guess in my mind, they're events that span, can span a couple of days, should span a couple of days, should generate quite a bit of activity. I know the Lighted Farm Implement Parade, we've tried to blow that up into a 2-day event. Cinco de Mayo clearly is more than 2 days. And Sunshine Days, I know they've been trying to elevate that to a 2-day event as well. Can Ale Fest do that?
You have somebody from Elfest that'd like to comment?
We don't have any plans of trying to expand it to a 2-day event.
Mhm.
We haven't considered it. And, you know, we might in the future, but it's becoming more and more expensive. We really got hammered last year. And we expanded it to a 2-day event. I'm not sure we can stay at the cost.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, I more just have a comment, but that, I think the LFS has a track record of number of years. You were, what year was this? The 12th?
This will be 10.
10, sorry, the 10th year. So I think it's been established in our community for a significant amount of time. And I guess I don't see the downside of making it a signature event, because it just then solidifies that as a activity that the city supports in our community that has been well established and provided great give back to the community as well, you know, because they do so much with the proceeds.
I can agree with that. My comment that would be for this is we don't have anything that outlines what, makes a signature event. So what's it to say, somebody else, hey, we want to be a signature event, right? So I think that might be a conversation starter if you guys want to have that tonight. At least just to start the conversation as to maybe send some guidelines as to what's a signature event.
I can add this, a signature event in my mind is something that you're known for. Sunnyside is known for the Lighted Farm Implement Parade. Sunnyside is known for Cinco de Mayo. I think at one point in time, Sunnyside was known for Sunshine Days, but my guess is that one's a little bit lower on the recognition scale. And if you want to create a signature event, that's one of the things you want your city to be known for. And I'm just going to ask the question. I'm not going to give an answer. Is that something that you want Sunnyside to be known for as an ale fest? Is Sunnyside a place where you can come and get a lot of craft beverages? Because that's basically what's being celebrated there. I have no problem with it. I just asked the question, is that what you want the city to be known for? Because that's part of a signature event.
The things we'd like the city to be known for, we've got a signature type event that's geared to Sunnyside. It's the Sunnyside Ale Fest. Well, I guess the answer is yes.
I think Varietal would appreciate people realizing Sunnyside had craft beer.
And I think the Carpenter Farms would appreciate knowing that Sunnyside has a unique processing of hops. So there's a lot of, I'm just asking the question. I'm not trying to provide an answer.
Bring up, Carpenter Ranches. They're on the front page of our Ale Fest.
So, but it's probably a city council decision. At least I've been told in the past that we shouldn't be doing these things. We should be making recommendations, and the council is supposed to rubber stamp them. But
So council did ask Outback to look into it and just provide a recommendation. Just like everything else, council could
Yep.
say no, could say yes, could get back to us. Monica, do you have any input?
Yes, if I recall, back with, when Alba was a city manager, I'm pretty sure I saw the term signature events referred to in our SMCs. So I'm wondering, maybe when Jackie's back, have we referred to our SMCs to see in the past if a signature event was there? I do recall, I swear I recall seeing one because it recognized, Sunshine Days, and I don't even know if it recognized the lighted, to be honest with you, but I swear I remember signature events, and it defined what made the signature event. It didn't give it any, if I recall, it didn't give it any preference to funding. It just recognized it, kind of like what Tom, you and Tom are saying. But maybe if we could refer to our old SMCs, that could give us some guidance, and maybe we would just simply look at rewriting and reinstalling that SMC instead of reinventing the wheel. And that maybe, like Tom was saying, we could take that back to council and say, this is what you had. What do you not like or not like, and maybe put it back on them. It was just, that was my thinking.
So I don't remember seeing anything on the SMCs as a
was-
signature event. I'm looking on the website now, and I don't.
Yeah,
mean,
I can find it here. I was before you were on council. George, I remember seeing it before you were on council. In fact, when, I want to say like when Amy Rubio was doing things. So that was a few years back. But I mean, it's just a question. It wouldn't hurt to look if there was reference to signature events. I really thought there was. I might have it, but that library would have it. It's simply not deleted. It's just simply, no longer made for view, but it would be there. That's just a thought.
I would say, just to reiterate, signature events define to a certain extent who we are. And I don't have a problem with Sunnyside being a place where craft beverages are produced and celebrated. But some of the other things that are part of Sunnyside's economy, like the dairy, I'd love to see signature event from them.
Yeah.
And we don't have that. I know I'm not trying to I'm not trying to make a recommendation here. I'm simply trying to, I think, get to a definition.
Okay.
Mhm.
My take, every event has its beginnings. I'm sure when, the implement parade started back in the day, Sunnyside wasn't known for it. Just throughout the years, just getting bigger and bigger. And I could actually see the Elfest getting, pretty big in the future. Something like Wenatchee has, right? They're known for that beer fest out there, along with, some other stuff. But we need to start somewhere. And if the committee doesn't feel like they can give a recommendation and they want to kick it back to council, to make it a council decision, we could definitely do that.
One of the things that we did as a committee, say a couple of years ago, was that we would always make sure that we funded our signature events to make sure that they were successful.
Mhm.
So that was something that this committee had said.
That they were going to fund the signature.
We'd fund the signature events to make sure that they were successful, because they define the city. We don't want people seeing Sunnyside signature events failing. Yeah.
And I think last year when we didn't have, I believe, Sunshine Days, anybody submit for it, we reopened the process. So give them a little bit more time to resubmit. So definitely don't want to see this, any event go away, especially the signature events for Sunnyside. So what
But based on what Tom just said, I also, worry that I really agree with, I think where Tom's going. I don't want the term signature event given to be like where he said in the past they would fund it. So we don't want these organizations, and we're one of them, to suddenly become a signature event in hopes that we would just get the money. I do think all of us organizations do need to work for that money by bringing in vendors and bringing in economic growth. So I guess I don't want the term signature event to be a crutch for us organizations. I would rather have it a distinction, if that makes sense.
And I think that's why I'm leaning on the longevity of the Ale Fest in my original statement, because I believe that they've shown dedication and a track record to providing all the support that they need. And so they're not looking for this as a means to obtain LTAC funding. And that's not that may have been what the committee said at some period of time, but it's not a hard and fast rule, right? I don't know if it is, maybe we can look into that, but I don't think that's why the Daybreak Brewery is here today or brought it to city council as a request. I think it's more that it has become a well-known event in our community that has excellent turnout, that our community is excited about, and they do give back significantly because of that event. And so I think they are doing, but I agree with all your points about having maybe some parameters and definitions around what a signature event qualifies as. So then as we move forward in the future, if there's another new organization that puts together an event that lasts 10 years, 10 plus years, then we aren't, we have those guidelines to fall
Yeah.
back on. So, I mean, I would recommend this as a signature event because I, as being someone who's been in the community for 9 years, I always assumed it was a part of like Sunnyside. I didn't know anything different because have only been here since it's been around. So.
I guess the signature events now, they've been around for what, more than 20 years each?
Sync is
Yeah.
going on their
5,
38.
30?
Lighted is 30 plus some, 35 some. Sunshine Days, I have no clue how long it's been around.
Not sure on that one. Anything further on this item? I could definitely bring it back to council and
Why don't we make an attempt at a definition
mhm.
and give that to council? And if they approve, then we can,
That's a good idea.
we can make a recommendation.
So LTAC's gonna work on a definition for signature events. And bring it back to council. All right. So the next order of business is council had a conversation that we started a couple months ago, and council decided to go forward with the question was with the security, the cost of the security. Right now, the city was picking up the cost for Cinco de Mayo, to have our officers out there for the sunshine days and for the parades and whatnot. So what council decided to do is go 50-50. The event is going to be responsible for 50% of the cost, any cost that they want to, they could hire the Sunnyside PD or have their own private security, and the city would cover the other half. And I think this is where the whole signature event came to play, because council did say that they wanted this deal for signature events only, and the smaller events they would have to provide their own security, pay their own for their own security. So the conversation that we need to have is just to make sure that the events like Cinco de Mayo, Sunshine Days, the implement parade, they know what they're getting themselves into for the 2026 events, that they're going to be responsible for half of the security costs. So if I know are you here representing okay, so you're representing the Cinco de Mayo and the Sunshine, And then do we have, Monica, are you representing the Implement Parade?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so we just want to make sure that, you guys understand that that's what's going to happen going forward. Any questions or comments?
Yes, I briefly spoke with Rob, Chief Layman, sorry, and then additionally, our proposals reflect the security costs.
And I believe he said he
Which is an
provided,
estimation,
yeah.
right? Like, I think this year's gonna be a little, we're trying our best to estimate, but it'll be next year where we'll really learn how much it costs. So
All right,
the actual costs.
Tom?
I guess when we get to the proposals, we can go through them. Does your proposal include the full security cost?
Oh, it was an estimation of what we would have to pay for the event
But based on
based on this.
50-50 split. Okay.
So if there's no further questions on that, we will continue with the proposals. I'm going to give the opportunity to let the folks that are in the audience go first if they choose to. So Miss Honeyporter, right? You're here representing Show and Shine? You want to go first?
Okay. So,
And then we're gonna give you 5-10 minutes just to, kind of give an explanation.
Big, sorry, it's just, kind of flip through it. There is, on the package, anywhere on there, I put a QR code that you can click and it takes you right to the website. So the people that organized this for like the past 22 years stepped back last year. That was the DeRooters and the daughter. They've done it for 20 some years. Started it, I think, I believe the story is her daughter was going to be a senior in high school and they were trying to raise some funds for the senior party. And this has now also become a staple. It is going on its 22nd year this year. And last year they had decided to step back and ask the senior parents to do it. So they would kind of head it and spearhead it. And then they would give the senior parents had honcho jobs and each person had a job. One would have advertising, going to banners, sponsorships, vendors. Everybody has a little role. They're very big roles. This is a huge chunk. They did an excellent job. They really did a great job. Every year they got better. I looked back at her website and you can see from every year all the way back to 2004, you can see every single car that has been entered ever into this car show. And every person that has come from out of town. So I looked back on last year's and I would say at least if on the lowballing end, 70% of the people that entered the car show were from out of town because you can include Grandview all the way back at our furthest traveled award was from Idaho and Boise. So we bring in a lot of people from, I believe, out of town, quite a few spectators, 1,500 is probably on the low end because you have all of us this and, it provides a great income for the party, a safe, sober graduation party for our Sunnyside High School students at the high school. You gotta remember we have kids graduating class of 500 to 600 children. And trying to keep them safe on graduation night is a huge accomplishment. These guys did a great job raising money over all this time. Like I said, they started off with if you look at each, if you were to go to the website, you could see how it has grown over time. There was only 1 year they didn't have the car show, which was COVID. So obviously that was the only year it was canceled. The next year was my first year doing the car show and we couldn't do a normal car show, but she made it happen. We did a drive-through. We made $4,000 that year and we were so ecstatic with $4,000 and we made a great party. Usually though, this can bring in for the seniors between that I have seen up to $16,000 to $25,000 for the senior class. With Lisa stepping back and all her knowledge, she still helped us last year. But obviously she has a lot of those connections. But we still did, I thought we did a great job last year for coming on. She still kind of helped us, but she stepped way back. She never came to any of our meetings. She guided us. She gave me everything. I have everything in the Dropbox. We decided to make kind of a little like senior parent, like car show new little committee And our goal was that we would train ourselves and then a few of us would retrain the next people the next year and the next year so it can follow. If not, the car show would be done. It was up to us to decide if this car show was going to stay. I would have to say it's probably one of the #1 car shows in Central Washington. If you even just right now get online and Google it, it comes up. SHS car show, show and shine, tons of stuff, YouTube videos, advertisements, it pops up. You can see it all over Google as soon as you look. I looked it up. I didn't even have to dig for it. It was right there. It was really cool. I was excited. And I was like, wow, these people did an amazing job the last 21 years. So as we're going through it though, the goal is it's really neat. You get all these people from out of town coming in, building up our community. We're getting up to close to 300 cars on the minimum. Last year we were a little bit lower, about 250, but we had the car show the same day as a Big Spokane car show. But we didn't know that because we were new car show people and we were just doing the best we could. Jackie and Lisa still kind of directed this. Jackie's amazing. She's still going to help us this year, but they have really stepped back. So I'm a little nervous here, sorry, because I don't have that 20 years of knowledge. So I'm just kind of like spitballing it to you right now. I have been involved in the community a long time. I was on the Sunnyside Court in '96. I've been around a long time. The car show, I am old. I came before the car show started, sorry. When I got here, and I came back after college and this car show was already going on. I go by and my husband's all about cars. I mean, they're a car family, huge car family. We bought probably 12 cars at the car show last year. Okay. All his relatives brought their cars to the car show last year. And so it really speaks community. You're involving the kids, you're involving the whole entire community, Sunnyside. And if you have not been to the car show, I'm not sure if you're from Sunnyside, if you haven't driven by or at least attended the car show or seen it that day or heard about it. It is a huge part of, I believe it's not a signature event, but it's getting known for the car show. So we don't want it to die. Plus it brings in a great amount of money for the kids. So many kids now. So we were talking last year and I believe, I'm not sure who talked to one of our coworkers last year or helpers, that we wanted to continue to grow and incorporate the businesses and they already have. I feel like the business has always been supportive, but bringing in, I feel like we do a great job bringing people in from out of town. I even came up with an idea on there like, hey, let's incorporate a Friday night cruise. Then they have to spend the night, right? And then come to the show the next morning if they're out from out of town, from like Idaho, as you can see, furthest traveled is the trophy award. We can have them go from, like Bob's to Burger Ranch to somewhere else and have a nice little like hopping cruise the night before and then come on in the morning where they're not just driving all morning to get to Sunnyside, Washington. Sorry, I don't have my, it's kind of right there. So we were just thinking this year, because we do a crazy amount of advertising. I threw an advertisement package in there. You can see what the G-Readers had developed over time. Very specific. I mean, you should see all the binders that I have downloaded and had to update. I mean, I have so much more appreciation for what they have done and built for Sunnyside, Washington, and to give another positive spin for our community. Oh, we need that all the time. It's great. People are happy when they're there. People are eating, and it doesn't matter where you're from or your background. Everybody's just happy to be there and supporting their kids, their graduating seniors. And the next year they help again. I've got probably 5 or 6 people that don't even have a graduating senior that, oh, I can't wait to come help you. I'll do registration. I'm like, oh, yay, but we want to keep it going in Sunnyside. But we were wondering if, I didn't ask for very much, I wasn't sure, but it would be great if LTAC, we were hoping it might be possible to help support the car show by maybe helping us with some of the expensive of advertising, of the licenses we have to buy. And then that money can really just go back to the kids for their party. But also, we can also, instead of that money that was sponsored going to pay those, we can, I don't know, does that make sense? That doesn't make sense, does it?
So
We're wanting to support the community and keep it going. We just thought that if, I'm not saying this right, I'm sorry, I'm not very good at this stuff.
So let me give you a break. No
Yeah.
worries.
No, go ahead, feed me and then I'll
yeah,
answer the best I
so
can. It
let's-
really should be a dereader.
So you're asking for $2,000.
Yeah, that's
in
probably on the
LTAC
very
funding.
low end, which is
Mhm.
because,
And do you understand how the LTAC money
yes,
is
it would be a
supposed to be
reimbursement
spent?
for funds, correct? So like our t-shirts cost us between $500 to $600 that we buy that we support. We put logos on the back. They have all the advertisements and sponsors that go on the back that are, so remember, we are a nonprofit as well. That's all advertised on the back of the shirts that we sell that day. We have security that we also have to pay for, but we just are able to use school security, which is great. So it's a less fun.
I see that you have in cost,
Advertising, yeah.
the advertising, yeah.
They do, I believe they go to Lima or one of the news stations as well. The papers, lots of social media that we're also doing. We also we drive on the advertisement package. You can see all the places that we send people off to do flyers and I mean, they had it down to a T. Table tents and flyers, all within Central Washington, and then also in Spokane and Seattle. I believe I wasn't the advertising person last year, but I was the background person here. Where am I going? We do have sponsors, but I can't guarantee, like, we do ask for sponsorships, right? But you can always guarantee on those because you don't know for sure if they're going to sponsor you the next year. Our hope is always that they will sponsor the next year. So.
And would you be able to then provide receipts
Oh,
for the
yes. Oh, yeah.
advertisement then? It's not just flyers and stuff.
Oh, no.
There'll be
No.
receipts.
No, yeah. And I have it in there because I copied what, that Lisa and those guys had in their documents.
Mhm.
As estimations of those from last year for it's usually radio ads, podcasts. They did a podcast last year.
Really?
We have the t-shirts, and then there's also, sorry. I'm going blank on one let's see here.
I think it's on page 41. Is it, Brandy, is it the advertisement locations miscellaneous?
Oh, and trophies. Trophies we're also
Right.
needing help with this year. What did you say? I'm sorry, ma'am. Yes.
Are you referring to, it's page 4, I'm looking at page 41 of the documents.
Yeah.
Advertisement locations, is that what you're referring to? Where
Yeah, I
it
was
lists
just
Yakima
so you
Herald?
can see that.
Okay.
They really, I mean, this is old fashioned out by hand, handing out flyers, gotta love Facebook, but they kind of like, sometimes I think filter things that only people see certain things at some point. Sometimes I'm like, dude, I've posted that 5 times and I still don't see it because they also want you to pay. We could also like advertise on Facebook. They want you to also pay on Facebook now so it reaches more people,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So that could also, but no, we have receipts.
Okay.
My receipt person's not here that did it last year. I was the gopher. I'm the gopher. and the typer. But it wouldn't be a lot. It might even be less than what, or I'm probably under what we spent. But we just really want to make it part of the city included. We can add you guys. You guys have helped in the past. I'm sure your businesses have all helped. I think I have some parents back here that have all helped at the car show. I'm not sure. Have you guys helped at the car show? Come on. I know you have. Okay.
What-
all right.
What I want to do with Ms. Sunny Porter?
Yes.
What I want to do next is open it up for questions
Oh, sorry.
from the committee. Any questions, comments from members?
Just so you understand that lodging tax dollars are generated by hotel room night
Right.
stays.
Mhm.
And you're asking for $2,000. To get that, we would need $50,000 in hotel room night stays. So your event is not going to generate $50,000.
I still.
No, let me finish before you,
For Sunnyside, and we do bring in a lot of people from out of town. You really could look at every single picture on there, and a lot of people come from out of town.
but the point is, and I'm not,
Okay, great.
I'm just giving you a little bit of insight into this. Your advertising, it says, line 15 says 50 miles, outside of 50 miles and $2,500. The advertising that I looked at in your packet looks like blanket advertising in the local area. It looks like you did a really good job of getting the word out. But what are you going to do outside of 50 miles? Because that's where the people are going to come from
Right.
who would stay in
and
a
this is
hotel.
where, like I said, I've only been doing this for about a year, so this was inside the package. This is where I probably would need like Jackie Youngblood or Lisa DeRuiter to answer more specifics on that. So I apologize I have like the estimates in there. Cause it's sorry, it's on the, yeah. I don't have a good question. I'm sorry.
No, it's definitely a
It's only my
community
first year, I'm
event.
just a parent. I mean, second year. And so,
No,
but
no
we
worries.
were approached by city people last year too, because like I said, it does bring in revenue for your city. It's a positive part of your city. It supports your students and what your community is all about. It's all about the kids and they need more stuff to do and to keep them safe. And so I think
And
it
I-
would look great within the city to support this event. Sorry.
And,
Monica, you had a
and
question?
Brandy,
Yes.
yes, and Brandy, I don't think Tom is questioning that at all. I think
Oh,
what
yeah.
he's referring to is the parameters that are put on at the state level for
Okay.
LTAC dollars.
Okay.
And they have to be funded in a certain way and then justified by having, which is why Deputy Mayor was asking about receipts.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's questioning of it. I think
Oh, okay.
it's a great
Well,
thing. It was
I
smart.
think Sarah has those. I can get those, if you'll allow me to, I can see if I can get a photocopy from last year so you can just see those.
Over the years, it's just become just harder and harder. You know, the state,
Oh, yeah.
everything's just looked at a lot more. I mean, I think it's
Oh,
it's a
yeah,
great
no, that's
thing.
fine. I
what you guys
am
do.
usually extremely picky. I just, one of the people that has that binder from last year, like I said, I have what I have on here, but the specific receipts are in a binder that a different adult had.
And the reason for my question also was because just before the meeting, Monica, our finance, she was sharing that, you know, some of these events were turning in invoices or receipts that didn't qualify.
Oh.
So I just want to make sure that everything's on the table. And I would,
You know, we can install a cruise, we can do this, like, because we definitely, what we want is we really want Sunnyside to be more known for multiple things, right? And
yeah.
this is a good
Yeah.
one. I mean, I have ideas too for.
So I like your idea about the cruise, but what we'd want to see too also, maybe it's for the future, right? Maybe it's not for this coming up year, but maybe even like a poker run, right? I've seen where car shows, you know, they finish off for the afternoon. I think yours ends like at 3 or 4 p.m. So maybe like a poker run where you set up at different wineries and
Yeah, that's what.
and at the end of the
Highlights of business, right?
yeah, and at the end of the event, they could end at a hotel, right? So everybody's, you know,
That was the other thing I'm talking about also adding onto our advertising, we can put Best Western at the bottom. Here's a QR code that takes you right to the Best Western. Sorry, was one of my ideas. That's why I'm putting people are all about the QR codes these days, but I'm old fashioned too. I like paper and print.
And you need to promote all of the hotels, not just the Best
Right.
Western.
And so we had thought about like, yeah, if we can get a list of that, we could put, if they all have a website, we could click it and they can go and I can make them highlighted links, boom, 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 boom.
Gotcha.
But that's what is something that could help grow and continue. We just wanted to keep going, you know, and so to keep going in Sunnyside and you know, getting supported is always a great move. When you feel unsupported, that's when things start to stop, you know, because we could have stopped and made our job a lot easier last year and not tried to continue doing it. But it really has become a big part of the spring here. And it's obviously, like I said, if you get on Google, you just type show and shine car show and it comes up first. So what does that tell you? It tells you that it's very advertised
yeah.
in multiple zones
Yeah.
throughout the world, evidently, if it's on Google.
What I like about your car show is it just
Yeah.
it's not just for lowriders or not just for muscle cars, but there's
It has all
everything.
the 25 trophies. We thought about incorporating, like I said, maybe we can include a mayor's trophy that they can come by or a city council or something where they can have input into one winner and they can go judge one. We added one last night. We had a short meeting. A little kiddo came last year and he actually entered into a category we didn't have, a pedal car one or something like that. So we added a new category for him because he's like, oh, where's my trophy? I'm like, oh my gosh. We incorporate the kids, they're building those resources, they're making trophies, they are feeling a part of their fundraising event. But I just love it because it brings the whole community together. I mean, that's my huge thing.
Mhm.
Almost the entire town supports the car show. And somehow, you know, hopefully when we come asking, we got started a little late last year because we were waiting for the guidance to happen. And
All right. Any further questions from the committee members?
Mine is just a comment, just based on the conversation. Maybe after we do this evaluation of the RFPs, that maybe one of the things that the LTAC committee does, I know you guys have done a great job in putting together a new packet, but maybe adding on to that, the definitions and the expectations, like these are like when Tom and Brandy were talking about the hotels, these are the list of the hotels. This is who you would need to promote. We need to see what you're doing outside of the 50-mile radius.
Right.
Maybe really kind of explaining to them, you know, we hate to be the bearer of bad news about the parameters, you know, we're just the messenger and how the money goes is dispersed, but maybe clarifying that sooner, that could help them generate the proposal targeted to where we want them to be going, and it might make for an easier program, and they don't feel like they have to explain so much, you know, kind of give them a little bit of guidance on expectations.
Or like, I was also wondering too, when I was building it, like, oh, I was thinking about, should I be like copying like some receipts so you can see like where, you know, what I mean, specific receipts before getting within the
Mhm.
proposal, seeing that. So
Mhm.
you can see those examples, but.
Okay.
it
Well,
was
let's,
To me, and I'm sure I didn't do great.
no, you did fine. We'll go on to the next one if
Thank
there's
you.
no further questions on this event. We have Alefest. You guys want to come up to the podium? Did you get the physical copy?
I'm not a speaker, by the way.
What's that?
My extemporaneous speaking is not very good.
All right, so give us just a quick rundown, 5-10 minutes on your event.
Been operating it since 2016, except for COVID. Obviously, that wasn't the purpose of the Ale Fest. Was established 10 years ago by three guys that were involved in varietal brewing. And the whole purpose was to generate funds for the youth of Sunnyside. The Ale Fest itself attempts to operate on its own money. We originally had, we got a $2,500 LTAC money in the very first year. And that was the only money that we had applied for until last year. It prompted us last year to apply because of the increased costs that we incurred. We used to operate it with volunteers. Our club average age is probably 70 plus. And so we can't do as much as we used to do. The event has grown from the very beginning. The advent of COVID kind of decimated the attendance, obviously, since we couldn't hold it for the 2 years that we were in. We were still generating some money from outside sources to fund our projects that we undertaken. And I think the high attendance was 750. That would have been 19, the year before COVID. We're starting to come back, but we're needing to get those numbers up. so that we can hopefully be more sustainable on our own. In that regard, last year we tried to generate some additional with LTAC money being heads and beds. We wanted to work with the motels to try to get something done in that regard. And I don't think we were very successful because we didn't know how to approach it. This year, we're hoping to incentivize some of the patrons that come for the Ale Fest to spend time in motel. And if we can generate a few bucks with the in the advertising sector, we might be able to do that and work with a motel to try to get some heads in the beds, which is the purpose of LTAC. And also, in our mind, we want to survive our event. I'm here to answer questions more than anything else.
All right, committee, any questions?
Have several. What are the hours of operation of the actual Ale Fest?
5 to 10.
5 in the evening till 10 at night. That's good because that would tend to push people to spend the night.
Yes, I hope so, especially if they're drinking.
On your project funding sheet, I don't know if you're familiar with it, it shows that you're estimating about $55,000 in revenues and about $53,000, $54,000 in expenses. And there were a couple of expense line items that I had questions on. One is purchased goods and the other is professional services. I see you do have a line item for security. So that's obviously not in the professional services, but what's in each one of those? Because those are $21,000.
Yeah, our under purchased items, that's the beer. The way that the Ale Fest operates, the breweries, if they pour one glass out of a keg, we buy the whole keg.
Mhm.
And we generally have up to 10 breweries.
Okay, so you've got 10 kegs of beer in there, basically.
And that we do the same. We also have wine. It's not a big seller. We also have cider. And the same program with those. And if you work out the numbers, you're going to be coming up with that. And there's maybe a couple of other items that we've purchased on the side that might go into that category.
And then the professional services?
That's building of the website and the tech services that we employ. Last year, they charged us, it was $10,000.
A lot of money. Hope they do a good job for you.
Well, I'm a marketing major in college. And I don't know anything about marketing in today's market.
Mhm.
We have to get to the younger set
people,
that
yep.
operates on Facebook, which I am not a member of, Instagram, and you name it. We also had to build our ticketing so that people could apply for their tickets online. And in that regard, we're trying to capture the zip codes of all of the people that buy a ticket. That way we can tell who's coming from where. But there's some issues regarding that with the Privacy Act.
Yes, I have run into that too.
Yeah, I can imagine. There isn't anybody that isn't subject to that anymore.
I don't have it in front of me, but do you remember how much LTAC funded this last time? Was
$10,000.
it 10,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
We applied for 20 last year. You funded 10.
And do you know if you turn in the receipts for those?
Oh, yeah.
You did? Okay. And the reason I ask is that there is some events that sometimes take for a little bit longer than they should. turning in the receipts.
Did notice on the application that this got to be turned in within 30 days.
Mhm.
And we probably had that problem, because we have Ivan Whitesar in our club, and he does the books. Boy, he has a hard time just getting people to send him an invoice.
Yeah.
But we're
And-
responsible for turning them in.
Whenever there's a good opportunity to talk about that, because that is a very difficult turnaround time, 30 days.
Yeah, we could definitely talk about it at the end of this meeting. Be some time to discuss that.
Thank you.
Any questions, Monica, from you?
I have one more.
I did a little clarification. So the purchased goods were the kegs of beer, correct?
That's what he said, yes.
Thank you. So how much were the drink tickets? Because if the purchased beer cost 14,000, were the drinks tickets 9,000, then you weren't making money off your beer. So I'm sure what I'm saying is I think you're missing a revenue item, as I'm wondering, because there's drink tickets. Is there drink tickets and an entry fee?
I don't understand the question.
So if somebody is attending the event, they pay
Thank you, Tom.
to get a ticket to attend the event and they receive some script, correct? And then on top of that, if they want to continue to sample, they have to pay additional. Do you sell additional drink tickets? And she's just saying, does that $9,000 line item include both entry fees and drink ticket revenue, or is it just entry fees?
Entry fees, I think.
So her comment is that I think you're missing some revenue here because you do have drink ticket revenue. You don't know how much it is, but you do have history that you could look at.
I can probably find out, but I hadn't pondered that question yet.
And I
And
was just bringing it up.
This is just
Oh,
a
go ahead,
thought for you. $25,000 is a lot of money. That would be $625,000 in room night stays. And what we would like to see, because I think this event has the potential to generate more business, more people coming in from out of town when the town becomes known for craft beverages. So the way to do that is somehow to create additional interest, whether it's an additional event at some other time or, there's lots of things you can try, but to substantiate that amount of money, we would like to see more hotel room nights. And you've only got one weekend here.
Yeah, and that's part of the purpose of trying to incentivize the customers to stay and, it's not going to happen overnight, unfortunately. And as time goes along, if we get back to the same or higher level, we can probably accommodate 1,000 people in the site. Because we do where is it?
Centennial?
Yeah, Centennial Park. Aside from that, we'd have a hard time accommodating because we have to fence it in because of the alcohol.
Well, I guess the thought that I have is the wine industry has done a pretty good job of this. They're having their problems, but they have what's called a harvest or a crush event. And people will come for that. It's only one weekend, but their harvest takes place over a period of 4 to 5 weeks. And a hop harvest is similar. Is it possible to develop some sort of a hop harvest event? And that's not necessarily on you folks, but it's on the people who will benefit from this, and that's Varietal and some of the other craft breweries. And that's the seed you want to plant with them. You want some money here. Try to spread that out to other times as well.
That's a good point because the Ale Fest symbol is a hop cone.
Mhm.
And, you mentioned Carpenter Ranches, they were heavily involved. And a lot of, last year, part of our problem was the economy. It's going to be worse this year. Sponsorships and all of that. Yeah, and we can't get away from that, I don't think. Not easily and a lot of our sponsors aren't contributing as much as they used to either. I can cite, we were down from a high of 45. We're projecting 20 this year,
Sponsors.
and we hope to get there. We have to get to more sponsors because there's so many that are giving less or none. So
One of the advantages you do have is that the younger generation is more inclined towards the ciders and the craft beers than they are wine. That's a plus. I would capitalize on that any way I could.
we hope so. And like I said, it was originally established to showcase the hop and the beer industry.
Mhm.
And, I think you have a good point about, maybe our event is at the wrong time of the year.
I don't think it's at the right time of the year, but I think what you want to do is you want to stimulate more at other times of the year.
I have a question. Do you keep track of the people coming in as to where they're coming in from? Maybe like a zip code?
He was trying that and he said he couldn't get it.
Get it?
Yeah, they claim the Privacy Act, which I think is a bunch of baloney myself, but
Well, you and I are in that same camp. I was in banking and
you can give me the zip code without giving me their name. I don't need that.
we do have and one of the reasons, so we are getting into incentivizing maybe some kind of a coupon for a hotel stay or discount or whatever we want to try to work on maybe for this year is that we know people that have come, but they don't stay in the motel. They stay with their friends. Maybe because they don't want to spend the money. So, but we want them to experience some life and hotel stays here in our own community so they can spread the word.
Mhm.
I don't know, just some thoughts. We're trying to do everything we can to generate some of that because if we're going to apply for funds, we ought to try to get some hotel stays.
No, I'm glad you appreciate that. Something you might consider is, and I would talk with the hotels, and I think they would be receptive to this, just to say to people, keep your entry ticket stub, produce it anytime the rest of this year, and get a discount of 10, 15, 20%. You have to work that out with the hotel anytime you come into town. It's a thought.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'd be receptive to it. How's that?
Well, I'm going to be asking you.
Well, I will direct you to my director of sales, but yeah. And
I hadn't considered, I only considered it for the night. You buy your ticket, your entry fee into the Ale Fest, you present your ticket at the hotel and you get your discount or you get your coupon and then
But give it some legs, let it live longer, and you might see more revenue.
Hold on. Monica, any questions?
I did the advertising under outside 50 miles is at 13,000. What is that comprised of? I was just curious. What kind of advertising are you guys doing?
we do posters, we do coasters, we go to all of the breweries and ask them, and we also give away tickets. And we do most of our advertising is the website and our electronic media, social media, newspaper advertising, too expensive. If you were going to do in my opinion, our market area for the Ale Fest is probably 30 or 40 mile radius from Sunnyside. So we
But
have
it
to
says here-
generate those people and
I'm
convince
sorry.
them to stay here. If you're outside of 50 miles, what's the market? You got to go all the way to Walla Walla, Spokane, maybe Ellensburg. Golden,
Which breweries participate?
Single Hill, Varietal, obviously. Actually, Varietal, Brian Campbell is on our Ale Fest committee. And
Iron Horse out of Ellensburg,
Good.
Bombing Run out of,
Richland,
or, Richland.
Wheathead out of Kennewick, a long ways out of Kennewick.
Yakima, any of those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, and so what you've done is
Outskirts of Sealand.
And then the other one, what's it, Single Hill?
Yeah, we got Single Hill.
What's the one on Natchez Avenue?
We had Fifth Line.
We usually have 10. In the past, we've had one winery, which is local. We have a second one, Coke Bonneville wants to participate.
Mhm.
And Hyatton, what's Cider Works?
Hyatton, and then, Mission, or, Munson's, what is it down there? Goose Ridge? or-
Yeah, Goose Ridge. And that's, they're all pretty local. We did try to get, there's a Cougar beer that's made in Seattle. We wanted to get that one. A lot of Cougars over here.
Any further questions?
I don't have anything.
Nope.
No?
There you go.
All right. Well, do we have anybody else? Somebody else back there?
I see Mr. Schlieve.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And you're with American Legion? Yeah, go ahead and come on up.
This was not in the package.
Which one is this? Is this one that's not
This
in the
is
packet?
Mary Taylor. Veterans Plaza.
Oh, I didn't see it in the download. I don't think I have it then.
It's not in the download.
No, it's
Okay.
not. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your project here. Give you 5-10 minutes to. While we look it over, it wasn't scanned to us, so this is the first time some of us are seeing it, and Monica on Zoom doesn't have a copy of it.
Mm-mm.
Go ahead and start.
Yeah, we have quite a few new people on the council over the last few years, so yeah, this is a good question. The city council approved this project in March of 2006. And we started working on it. We first started on that circle at the very north end where the three-sided cement feature is. And so we put up those two first granite walls. One is a remembrance of 9/11. The other one is a remembrance of the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. And that was our first start. And things got going very quickly. Money started pouring in. And then the 2008 Great Recession came along and really slowed us down. So we had about 3 or 4 years where generating money to do any more work, it just wasn't coming in. But about 2012, the economy started picking up. people were, had a little more money, and because the plaques were $300 to order a plaque. Now we're still at $300, the same price we were in 2006. So we've been able to maintain that for the veterans and their families that order a plaque. But when we first started the project, we excavated about the first 1/3 of the northern end of the median, and that's where all the rose bushes were. The original rose bushes had gone wild, so they were within 1 year. We would prune them back to 1 foot in the fall, or excuse me, in the spring, and by fall they were 6 foot, 8 foot tall. They had just went completely wild, and so we excavated all that, and that's when we discovered that the southbound lane is 6 inches lower than the northbound lane. And that's not only the street, but the curb. So we went to the city. They said we have absolutely no funds. Asked me if I heard about the 2008 Great Recession and how sales tax had just plummeted. And they said, we couldn't help you a bit. So it was up to the American Legion to replace the curbing around the entire median, 400 foot long, replace all the asphalt around it, level it, and get it so it had a complete even slope. And the streets had been seal coated so many times that in many places the street was higher than the old original curbing, and it was old curbing that had no apron in it. It was just straight, 6 inches wide, 1 foot deep. And so being only 1 foot deep like that, and having grass within it, I'm sure there was a lot of heaving and freezing, and it moved everything around. So anyway, we had our hands full doing that, and but we brought in probably some of the best contractors that we could get. We got Luther to come in and grade it and remove everything, and we had Hazard and Boss do the cement work, and they did I think, an excellent job for us. So really appreciative of the people that came in and helped us at the very start. But we had to, of course, lay out all new water lines, not for watering anything, but just to have watering stations where we could hook on the hoses and wash the plaza completely down from one end to the other at least once a year. Because we put the pavers in, and if you put pavers in, you'll get moss growing everywhere, collecting weeds, and so we have to maintain that. And anyway, in 2012, I think the fall of 2012, we finally got Home Depot to donate 64 pallets of pavers. And it was an interesting working with Home Depot, because they would not let us install them. They said, no, whatever we donate, we install. And so they started installing them, and the next thing we know, the members of the Mormon Church, kind of led by George Johnson and Gary Martin, came and seen me, and they said, we needed to bring our youth in and lay some of these pavers for you. And so they came in one weekend and laid about 1/3 of them. Well, then the people from Home Depot decided that they were scheduling an event to come down and bring 40 people to come in, and they saw that a good section had been done. And they kind of irritated at me, and they said, hey, we do everything. And so after that, they started coming down a lot more often, and they were bringing their managers. And what they did, it was a district project by Home Depot because no one store could fund that. So it was the Hermiston store, the Kennewick store, the West Richland store, and the Yakima store. So each one of those stores, according to the district commander, had to bring at least 10 people. So, so by the end, I think by the end of 2013, we had all the cement work done and all of the pavers in. And of course, in between there, we'd already done the water lines and the electrical lines and that type of thing. And so we had to, the electricity had already came in, is that three-sided cement feature at the very northern end. That was a sundial. That's what it was meant to be. And it had electricity going up through it with a light on the top. So we had electricity, and it was from across the street where Banner Bank used to be, is where the meter is and all that. But it's the type of electricity that usually the farmers use for their wheel lines, which is just a double-aught heavy aluminum line, about the size, the aluminum itself is about as big around as a pencil. And so it's coming in up to the northern part. So anyway, we got Tollison Electrical to come in there and put the panel in and do all that work. And
if you forgive me,
so we had, Tollison said, hey, you got an electrical line. You don't want to stress this line out because aluminum will melt. Then you'll be in trouble. So he got us the lights, and back then LED lights and all that was kind of new back in 2010, 2011, 2012. So some of those light fixtures we have in that very northern part were $250 a piece. So that was things that we bought. But we started out, the first two walls put up were at the very south end, and that was the Killed in Action walls. And so that was kind of the way we started like that. So
can you explain your current project? I see that you're requesting $10,000. So and then it's purchased 4 black walls. That's your current project that you're working on?
that's it, yeah. And of course, the event will be the dedication of all 4 of those.
Okay.
Probably about this time next year, maybe on, I think it'll be somewhere between Patriots Day, maybe as late as Veterans Day next year is when they'll be installed, and we'll dedicate them. And, and I know Tom knows this, he's watched this project pretty closely, but it's been a very slow progress. We now have 22 walls up like that.
Would these be the last 4 walls that you be putting up?
We'll only have 2 more black walls like that. But these are the last of the black walls. And the only other 2 walls that'll go up will be the walls that'll be placed right beside the 4 eagles up at that crosswalk area. And it'll be the introduction. This is the Jerry Taylor Veterans Plaza, a little bit of history and why we built it, and the people that sponsored it, the people that we got our funding from. And so that until I know exactly who are all the people that we will try to thank. Might be down the road before we put them down, but the gray walls will only go up as fast as we get orders for plaques. So I worked and I built that Veterans Memorial that's out at the cemetery. And the cemetery gave us a certain amount of space. We took 100% of it up. And I mean, we were right up to graves and everything. I think that we found one pauper's grave where the county buried veterans that were the head, no means of, no relatives, no income like that. And so they buried them. And I think we were up within 6 inches of that cement liner in the ground. So, but the first thing that came out of everybody's mouth after we dedicated that is everybody wanted to buy a plaque on it. We said, well, we've been advertising this for 6 years, to raise the money, and we've used up all the space. And there was all kinds of articles in the Sunnyside Sun saying, what kind of a dummy built something like that, and there's no room for expansion. And there were lots of letters from to the editor about that. So this one, we have a lot of space available for 20, 30 years down the road. America finds a way to get in a war. We'll probably be in a war with Canada one day. Who knows? We'll find somebody to go to war with. And long after I'm gone, there will be room. And that's, to start a Veterans Memorial like that takes a lot of effort. Any of these events that are signature events takes a lot of initial energy. But if we already have everything there, so all they have to do is take the order for the plaques, put the walls up, well then,
Okay.
we hope anybody could do it then.
Okay. What I want to do is open it up for any questions from the members here. Any questions?
No, I have been frankly, a big fan of this. And I think that it is unique in the Pacific Northwest. I think it's unique on the West Coast, period. But one of the questions that I have, and I remember talking with Jim Mastucci at one point about this, is can you put together some events around the facility? And I am talking about on Veterans Day, I'm talking about on Pearl Harbor Day, I'm talking about 4th of July. You can use Patriots Day, call the Oregon National Guard, have them do a flyover, something that is large scale, because the veterans will come and the public will come. And that's where you can generate some heads and beds. If you have events associated with this facility, it's a magnificent facility, but I think it's underutilized at this point.
And you're absolutely right. And one of the things, if you looked at the 2 examples of the walls that are coming in, did you see the papers I put on that?
Haven't seen that yet.
Okay, should have been at the very end up there. Because the last circle of black walls is in about the center of the Veterans Memorial. Right now we have the Declaration of Independence wall, and we have the one on the Star Spangled Banner. So around the 4 walls we have, we'll go in and finish that 3rd circle of which would comprise 6 granite walls in a circle, kind of our Stonehenge type effect. And they're mostly going to be about the founding of our nation, our founding fathers, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution. Why anyone in this nation would go join the military and serve their nation. There has to be even a subconscious type, like this is the right thing to do. And you have to believe in your nation. And all of us who have served are just following the long line of veterans who have served since the Revolutionary War. So we're kind of emphasizing that. And what that's brought up, an interesting thing, a very good classmate of mine that I asked her to proofread what's going to be on one of these walls, because she's a fantastic wordsmith. And she said, I'm related to this guy Brewster, who was in the Sons of Liberty, who dressed up as the Indian, who actually tossed the tea overboard into the Boston Bay. And we got to talking about this back and forth, emailing, and all of a sudden it hit me. I said, you know what we got to do? We got to go to this junior ROTC group at the high school and work with them and have an annual Boston Tea Party event because now we have the park. Yakima Federal has donated that park to us. So now we have that park. Now we could sell hamburgers, pop, things of this nature. We could have a way to generate money, but patriotism is something that sells, Americana, and that kind of stuff sells. And I think people would come a long ways to probably even bring their grandchildren and say, hey, you gotta see this event, and then have these cadets in their uniform walking up to the speaker, the microphone, and each playing their part and doing this thing, and then pretty soon you could extend that to the Boston Massacre, but people don't, like when I went to school, we just barely heard about these things. But now as I get older and I read history and I understand it better, and I read about Thomas Paine and Samuel Adams, and Paul Revere, people that really haven't gotten a lot of press compared to, say, George Washington, Hamilton, Madison, Jay, and some of the others. I think once we get these four walls in, we could have events just like that at that park 2 or 3 times a year on the holidays that they actually took place, so they would be spread out through the year. So, and that's just something that's come upon me within the last 3 months, talking with a classmate, and her maiden name was Tanas, from the Tanas Mint from Sunnyside. They farmed about 1,000 acres north of town back in the day. We don't have too much mint like we used to, but anyway,
Right on.
she said she'd make a $10,000 donation to make this thing work. So she got excited just because she's done her ancestry and knows that she's actually had a relative that was one of the Indians, so-called Indians, but,
Well, I appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us, and thank you for your service, by the way. So if the committee doesn't have any further questions, we'll move to the next one and
okay.
go from there. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Do we have anybody else? Tom, are you representing anybody? It's a bystander. Okay, so we're gonna go on to Cinco de Mayo.
Would you like me to go up there?
No, you can stay there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your consideration.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so Cinco de Mayo. This will be the 3rd year that Sunnyside Rotary will present Cinco de Mayo in 2026. We've done it for 2 years so far. So it's a newer signature event for Sunnyside Rotary to put on.
This is the 38th annual, though, Cinco de Mayo celebration that the city of Sunnyside has put together. We have prepared this package of information for you all today to share a little bit about what we did in previous years and then also what we anticipate to do in subsequent years. We are asking for $30,000, which is a slight increase from last year's ask and a slight increase from last year's award. The majority of that increase is around the discussion for the security costs. And so we recognize that Cinco de Mayo, one of the main priorities of this event for Rotary and the city is to ensure a safe event after the incidents that have occurred in the past. And so I very much enjoy being a part of ensuring that safety for our community. And I recognize the importance of security, but this is going to be the signature event with the largest security needs from our police force. And so with my statements that I mentioned earlier, I just want to reiterate, this is going to be a new cost for our organization to split, and we're very thankful for council's decision to at least meet us halfway, because I recognize the budget constraints that the city council is facing in regards to these events, but yet promoting and fostering safe activities that honor the heritage of our community is important. And so what I'm trying to get at saying is, though, we don't fully know what the cost will be yet until this next year of doing it. And so we tried our best to estimate with information that Chief Lehman provided us, and hopefully what we budgeted for will be sufficient. So on the project funding page, we anticipate that the security costs will be around $20,000 to Rotary, $40,000 for the city. That's going to be the largest expense. So our biggest draw to the community for Cinco de Mayo is our entertainment and then also the carnival. And so we bring in Hispanic heritage musicians to the community that weekend. We also have different events with the charros and the vendors and food vendors. We also have sales vendors throughout the downtown. I hope you all have been to Cinco de Mayo. So I'm sorry, I am making an assumption that you've partaked and know a little bit about the actual event itself. It is a 3-day weekend event. That is usually the weekend before Cinco de Mayo. Like this year, it's on Tuesday. The 5th is on a Tuesday, I think. So it might even be a Wednesday, but so it's the weekend prior to that. And we have a much shorter car show than this car show that the Sunnyside High School puts on, but there's a car show, there's a parade, trying to think what other good things, but the main attraction to have people stay overnight for the 3 days is going to be the entertainment that we bring in, and then additionally the carnival. And so the majority of our funds generated from this event is from those carnival ticket sales. And so we have estimated, we hope that we see a little increase next year. So we anticipate more revenues with the carnival as years go on, and we demonstrate to the community it's safe again. Because I think there is still a little bit of that hesitation, and will take many years to build back up confidence that it's a safe event. With that, I hope I provide an overview enough about the signature event that Sunnyside Rotary is requesting LTAC funds for, and I would love to answer any questions to the best of my abilities.
Any questions?
And I'm sorry, I will just say, I'm serving as Rotary's past president, and that is also why I participate on the LTAC committee as a utilizer. So I'm an active participant in the governing structure of Rotary.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't see, was that not, I didn't get a copy of the Cinco de Mayo or the Sunshine Days. Was it submitted?
No, it wasn't. It was another one that wasn't scanned in. So
Okay.
I could give you a copy, I guess,
Yeah,
afterwards.
I can, or I can swing by maybe City Hall tomorrow and,
Okay.
or if you're able to do it, yeah, I can grab something to look at.
Well,
Are we gonna be doing like a round 1 and round 2 where we look at these and talk and then look again, so I would have a chance to?
That was going to be
Review.
my question after we review these.
Okay,
how
fair
we
enough.
wanted
All right.
to handle it.
Okay.
Because
But
we
we'll
are pretty
focus back
close to
on Sierra. I didn't want
to the end
to.
of the year.
Yeah.
And yeah, sorry, when Jackie sent the link out last night and I reviewed it this morning, I noticed that ours wasn't included, so I apologize for
She
obviously
had
not
something
being able
come
to
up too,
resolve
so I
that
just want to
today.
make sure I didn't click wrong. So thank you, Sierra. I'm sorry about that.
Well, one of the things that we could do to get you at least in the loop would be to take a picture and text the project funding sheet to you, Monica, so you have it in
Oh,
front
that'd
of
be
you.
great. Yeah.
I'm happy to do that. I just
So
need you.
while he does that, I have a few questions. Has the attendance increased year over year since you guys started with this
Yes,
event?
one of the difficult challenges we do have with this event is similar to what is faced with Lighted Farm Implement Parade and Sunshine Days. Unlike AleFest, it's not a closed event. So our best gauge for the number of attendants is actually from our carnival ticket sales. And we did see an increase from 2023 Cinco de Mayo, or sorry, 2024 Cinco de Mayo to 2025's this year's. And so it wasn't as much of an increase as we were hoping for. And so I think, any growth is good growth, but at least when I think about financials, the difference between surviving and thriving, if we want to see more growth progression. And I think with the increased funding available, we can really promote the advertising of this even further. There's a lot of different really great opportunities to advertise and try to provide information out further than even the 50-mile radius to try to capture some, because Sunnyside, I think, is already well known for being a major Hispanic hub for our Central Washington population, and we can really draw more in.
So I have a couple of questions on the budget. And Monica, if you give me your phone number, I can send this text
Yeah,
to you.
509-305-1730. Thank you, Tom. I thought I had your number, so I apologize.
That's fine. There it is, and there you are. Looking at the project funding, there's a $5,000 line item for professional services. What is that for?
Yes, and so in the past, our professional services did also include security. So you'll see a decrease in that line item from previous years to this year's proposal. And this line item includes the sound equipment that we have to rent for the bands that come in because they provide that the musicians, but we help support the sound. And then additionally, there are some electrical services, but it doesn't include like our generator rentals. They fall into the equipment rentals, for example. But mostly it's the sound equipment.
So it's audio visual consultants.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. When, and I just remember listening to Amy Rubio when she was putting this on back in I guess the day. She said that the item that generated more attendance than anything else was the quality of the bands. And I'm just curious if you can comment a little bit on you've got $35,000 for entertainment. Is that just one band or is that?
That is the total cost of all the bands that we pay to come in for the 3 days.
Is it a different band each day or is it?
Yes. So the schedule of bands is outlaid prior to the events even starting, so we can try to generate some excitement and hype on different social media platforms. But they do come from all one group typically. And then there are some bands that are volunteer bands that we don't pay as a part of that group, but maybe they just want to fill in a slot because they're trying to get their sound out there. And so we save those. It's actually kind of interesting. The cheaper bands happen to go first. And then as you progress through the day, the most expensive band is that headliner at the end of the night.
Okay.
Any questions, Monica?
Yes, and on the revenue, and I'm just barely looking at it, so I'm sorry, Sierra. On the revenue, you have registration, entry, and ticket fees at 35,000, and then vendor fees at 25,000. So my first question is the 35, what is that comprised of? How are you?
Yes, carnival ticket sales.
Okay, that's what I guess.
And then the vendor fees are all the fees that we generate from the vendor booths that are out in out on the streets and all the vendor activity for the 3 days.
What is the percent that they pay the commission, if you will, the food booths?
We charge a flat fee for the space.
I see. Okay, good.
How much is the flat fee?
I don't have the exact cost available right now, sorry.
Cause isn't that a lot of vendors to hit 25,000?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can follow up and provide you additional information. This is just our budgeted estimate based on past.
No, that's good. I mean, that means it's covering quite a few streets, right? Because to accommodate all those vendors.
Yes. The only vendors that don't pay for anything during the event are our nonprofit volunteer, like informational booths that are found on Centennial Park. So if you do frequent the event, those vendors, we don't charge.
All right.
And is this about the same amount you made last year on vendor
Yes.
fees? Oh,
Yes.
nice. Okay, thank you.
Any further questions from the committee? All right, so you have Sunshine Days, so let's jump on Sunshine Days.
Okay. So Sunshine Days is a little simpler. It is a little, this will now be our second Sunshine Days. We did one this. Yes. And I'll wait if, Tom, if you don't mind sending Monica the
Yep.
same sheet. I imagine
Thank you,
that's the most
Sierra.
helpful, but so Sunshine Days is newer to me and then also newer to Rotary as we have helped us, with this signature event, trying to revitalize it with the community support and bring Sunshine Days back to its, glory that it once was, many years prior to my time being in this community. So, with Sunshine Days, we did host the signature event this year. And this is the celebration of when Sunnyside became a city or a town, municipality, whatever the terminology. Sorry, I don't know the history as well about Sunshine Days as Cinco de Mayo. But with that, we had a great 3-day event this past year, and we're hoping that with LTAC support, we'll be able to continue supporting this signature event in subsequent years to come. And so the very exciting thing about this event this year is last year when we first put it on, well, not last year, it was just a little bit ago, so it feels kind of funny talking in the past, so sorry. In 2025 in September, when we put this event on, we were not able to get the carnival to come on, which is a huge attractor for these signature events. The community really enjoys the carnival, and then also that is where we're able to generate a significant amount of money for the event to be successful. But the carnival that we work with for Cinco de Mayo wanted to see demonstration that it could be profitable. So we had like smaller amusement activities this year, but then they have already committed to us that they'll bring the carnival at a not as large scale as Cinco de Mayo, but kind of somewhere in between. So we're growing that aspect, which I think will significantly attract people. The challenge Sunshine Days has, unlike Cinco, is it's more dedicated to our community. And so how are we going to attract those outside 50 miles participants to come? And so that's really by creating a destination that has a lot of good information and heritage about our community that people want to come here and learn about, not just our town celebrating the heritage, because that would then not lead to many night stays. And so we hope that with the support of LTAC, the majority of the funding would go to those entertainment, because that's to Tom Denley's point about how entertainment is really the draw for Cinco de Mayo on top of that carnival. But if we could work and partner with the same group we do, Bustos Media, for entertainment during Cinco, I don't know if we would use that same I think our goals as Rotary would have different types of music. So not to just replicate Cinco de Mayo's musical guests, but rather have different genres of music, more of a variety music show is our vision. And so the majority of the funds we're asking for today are to support our increase in security costs, which is a little less because we anticipate the operations of this event at this stage to be a little less than Cinco. Maybe one day it'll be as big as Cinco is. So we anticipate it'll be $15,000 for security, again, shared with the city. So again, thank you for that. and then $15,000 for entertainment, which is about half of, a little over half, a little under half, I'm sorry, of what we spent for Cinco de Mayo. And so have more variety. And then we also like this opportunity to have more community involvement and working with those different groups to help bring together this wonderful event for our town. With all that, what other, I'd love to answer some questions.
Any questions from the committee?
I have a question as far as Sunshine Days is concerned. Has the Noonday Rotary thought about some of the other things that could be added to this, which would enhance the experience for people and bring people out of town? One being some sort of a culinary competition, because Sunnyside has a strong heritage in food, and it's something that I know if it's properly promoted can generate. You can do contests, you can do cook-offs, you can do samplings, things that will bring people who are foodies into the area, and they will stick around. And then you can feed them to the varietal and to the wineries and so on. There's a synergy there, and I guess I don't see that in any of this right here. Is that something they've thought about?
I think I love food events. I am a huge, anything that is related to food motivates me to attend. So I very much understand where you're coming from. I think it's a huge attraction, and there's a lot of different communities like Prosser and different type of areas that have food-driven events. One of our considerations is that some of our vendor fees are generated from food vendors. So we would want to do it in a mindful way where we don't discourage vendors from participating in these events as we begin to grow them, but also promote, because they're not going to come if they can't make money off of it. But if we can make it a big deal where their food, so it's just about how do you include all those different types of foods and make sure no one feels excluded. So I love the idea and I appreciate the feedback. And as we enter our second year, we'll certainly connect with community partners that have great ideas on how we can bring more attraction to the event.
Do a competition and tell the vendors to enter.
Thank you.
They get their fee reimbursed, right? If they win.
They win, yeah. I mean, you can do a lot of things that are creative. I know because I have for years asked Union Gap, Prosser here, maybe we have to collaborate together. Bring a large name, a Bobby Flay, a Rachel Ray, bring them here during harvest when all of the cornucopia of things that we have available are here, and do an event. Bobby Flay loves those throwdowns. I don't know if you've ever seen them.
If you have his number, I'd love to connect.
Somebody's got to, that takes a little bit of work to dig through that, but somebody has to go after them. And that would bring a huge attention to.
For sure.
So I have a question. The Grito competition, did that happen this past Sunshine event? I thought that you guys were gonna hold it, right?
What is that?
The Grito competition?
I don't know for certain. Sorry.
Okay.
I
So,
can follow up and provide clarity.
and then how successful was that 3-on-3 basketball tournament? Is it local teams that are signing up, or are you guys getting teams from Seattle, Portland, Spokane?
We did not get teams from, it was local teams. I don't know exactly the farthest away team, so sorry about that, but I don't believe we received, we had teams sign up from larger metropolitan areas coming here. That's a huge opportunity, and working with the 3-on-3 basketball tournament group, I think collaborating with them is going to be a huge potential, as we've talked in past meetings about how those also bring a lot of potential heads and beds to the
Yeah, I mean,
festivities.
sports tournaments, right? They're the ones that bring in the families. They're the ones that are spending the money. The kids want to go everywhere and spend it, everything. But it just surprises me that we haven't established something that attracts, basketball teams from Spokane, Seattle. I mean, I think Spokane does a basketball tournament, and a lot of teams go to that tournament. So I don't know, maybe a possibility of expanding that tournament. Just my thoughts.
Oh, thank you very much. Be back.
Monica, any questions?
Yeah, the question I had was, I noticed on both of the, on the project proposals, I guess, where what Tom sent me, the funding. Um, there is no line item for number one, the beginning cash on either one of the documents, so we really don't get a good picture of it is. I looked and it seems like everybody else did fill those out. Is there a reason why the beginning cash was left blank?
I do not have the answer to that. Sorry, I reviewed this, but I'm not the preparer of it, so. I can, if you'd like to see some more details, we'll be happy to provide it.
I was
But
just,
I think
to be honest, I was
probably the
just thinking,
mindset around it is we don't carry over funds specifically for this event, for example. And so we do really start off with a blank slate because we want the event itself to be break even from Rotary's funding.
So are you
Okay,
using
then.
the Rotary general funds to fund the event?
Well, no, the goal is to not use any of Rotary general funds. And so that's why I would assume that it starts off at zero because we want to generate enough funds with the operations of the event itself to not need any Rotary general funds.
But you must use them at some point because you don't get LTAC funding until you supply an invoice.
Correct. And so we do generate revenues from our sponsorship and we do pull out of general funds to then reimburse.
Right, and then reimburse
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay. And then the other one was on the vendor fees. Is that also a flat rate? And is it the same rate as the Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah, so the vendor fees for Sunshine Days is quite different than Cinco de Mayo
Yeah.
because we don't have as heavily focused on the vendors and closing off the streets. At least we didn't in this initial go with Sunshine Days.
Mhm.
It was more of a kind of community. We're trying to create that differentiation between Cinco de Mayo and Sunshine Days, as Sunshine Days really being about the heritage of Sunnyside. And so we didn't charge the same amount for the two events, and we didn't fill up all those vendor slots that we have for Cinco de Mayo either. And so it was a different focus for those.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how that will plan out for this next year, depending on some of this feedback received here tonight too. And as community participation in our Rotary Club gets closer to the event itself, we might have a different drive and direction.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Foster.
Thank you.
So committee, I have a question. We're coming up to 2 hours, and we probably have what, like four more of these
Oh, we
events
do?
to go through. What I would
Oh, we do.
suggest is we finish these reviews and hopefully everybody's up for another meeting here in the next 2-3 weeks. Because this does have to go before council, and I believe council has 2 meetings in December. I'm not sure on the dates. I don't remember them now, but we do need to submit those recommendations for council approval.
I did have something that might help a little bit. You said we have 4 to go through. I think one of them is the lighted farm implement parade, the farmer side of things. And the other one, well, actually, there's Miss Sunnyside is sort for the cause. So there's 3, and then there's 2
Oh, so there's
from,
5, yeah.
there's the American Hill Climb National Championship and the Washington Nitro Nationals. And I have a question, a fundamental question, which my research is showing an answer to that might say that the Washington Nitro Nationals and the American Hill Climb aren't eligible for LTAC funding because those are for-profit organizations. And LTAC funding cannot be given to a for-profit organization.
Monica,
No, I believe it can. Have you
Not-
referring to the
not-
RCW?
Not lodging tax. TPA can, but not lodging tax.
The only reason I'm bringing it up is because last year, the farmers for the Lighted Farm Implement Parade, we applied for that, and when we got it, we started the process for our 501c3, and with the current changes in administration and lower how do we say it? Not as much employees on hand. We are still waiting for ours. And so so we've applied for it. We're just waiting. We have it from the Secretary of State. We have submitted it to the IRS. We're just waiting for the classification and recognition from the IRS, recognizing us as the 501c3, but we have done everything else. It's just a matter of them waiting and saying, yes, you've done all the paperwork. So that's where we're at on that. I also, and I mean, we did put for profit because technically, it is under Carter's social, only because the 9-1, we have the 9-1, but it's not done yet. And the point I'm getting at too with us is it all stays in an account, it's all volunteer. So I'm not sure. I really thought that LTAC funds could be used for that, but you're saying it's the TPA versus the LTAC funds are two different things,
Correct.
Tom?
We do not have a TPA here. I have for years wanted us to form one. Those
Uh-huh.
dollars can be given to for-profit organizations and they have a specific use, and that's advertising. But lodging tax dollars need to be given either to municipalities or to private nonprofits.
I thought we could though, for profits.
Everything I've
I-
read says no. I don't think you want to get sideways with the state auditor.
No, we don't.
I'll look it up more. When I Google it, it says yes, that for-profit entities can apply for lodging tax funds through the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee in Washington. The purpose of the funds is to promote tourism in the jurisdiction by attracting individual travelers over 50 miles away and encouraging overnight stays. The LTAC will make funding recommendations to the jurisdiction's governing body for the final award.
And I'm assuming, because one of the things we're missing here is the media piece that we've seen in subsequent or like prior years. And so I don't think the media group we worked with last year, I mean, I'm assuming, but I would assume they weren't I'm assuming they're for
A
profit.
lot of things went into the black hole with the former city administrator.
So
Well,
maybe that's a purpose to have a second meeting so we can have some time to research that component, because though Washington State says that, is there any potential that
It also says it on the MRSC. It
That's
says
where I
that
was
the
looking too,
statute
Monica,
does not
RCW.
explicitly prohibit for-profit entities from applying for the lodging tax funds. The purpose of the funds is to promote tourism for the jurisdictions, attracting individuals traveling 50 miles away.
Is that the opinion piece or is that the?
That is yeah, so I actually went to the conference where they held this, and I can send it over to you, but it's directly on the MRSC. It's like a questions and answer facts kind of page. And so the question was, can a for-profit entity apply for the lodging tax funds? And it says yes.
Okay. Thank you, Monica.
That should be verified because they might be including TPA in the lodging tax funds, but I don't know. I'm not. I know they can apply for TPA if they include TPA in lodging taxes, but it's not. It's an assessment. It's not a tax.
This one's directly quoting for the hotel motel tax.
Okay, good.
let's move on then to the lighted farm implement parade. And Monica, you're here to.
Yes, thank you. I explained a little bit about the setup that we're currently at. And so to play it safe, we could have used our 9-1, but if our 9-1 would have been verified, the IRS actually isn't done with that. So that's why we did it. We did it the way we did. And as soon as that's done, I even emailed that to Jackie, letting her know. And so as soon as that's done, we'll give that to Jackie along with our determination letter. So we're in an unusual situation because we're applying for the RFP before we've actually even completed our very first event. So we really kept everything the same. We don't really have anything rock solid to kind of go on, any lessons learned, any knowledge to give you guys back for input. But we're always greatly appreciating that. What we did is we did ask for $1,500 more, just because we've seen how everything's going up and we're guessing advertising costs is going up. We don't know that for a fact yet. That is why we put that in there. We also can't give you any figures on what we've spent because it hasn't happened and we can't give you a picture of how well that worked. So we were just trying to be very, very conservative, stay at the 5 that you guys gave us, but maybe add a little bit more just to think about other things that would, because the costs rise. Other than that, we really haven't done the first one yet. So everything is literally just the same as it is. And we hope when we've done our parade that you guys want to meet with us, or we'll give you guys some information, a wrap up, and go from there and make any adjustments moving ahead. I think we're in that unusual window, but really everything for us is the same. We don't have anything to report yet. It hasn't happened. And we've only asked for 1,500 more just to anticipate increased cost in advertising and marketing. And I'm open to questions. So
Any
not
questions?
a, ours is short and
for
sweet.
Monica?
So
I do have one question. And
Yeah.
I don't have the whole application here in front of me, but when I read it last night, I believe the application said that the goal was for you to become self-sustaining.
correct. Our goal is to say thank you guys for your support, but we're going to be moving on. We feel that if we do our job right, our personal opinion is LTAC is a stepping stone. It's to get things established, get things going. And then when you have those pitfalls, like let's say we come across, 4 years from now, the parade, the event before didn't hit the mark in sponsorships we need. Well, then we'd apply again and just say, hey, based on the previous year, we kind of missed the mark. We're going to need, if you could help us with, $3,000, $5,000, and here are the results that we've put together, and here's how effective how our marketing have been. We would do that, but no, our goal is really for us to be self-sufficient. If you look at the budget, it doesn't really cost a lot for us to function, and we really just want to get to that point where it's ours, I guess, for lack of a better word. I hope that makes sense, Tom. But yes, our goal is to be self-sufficient.
Well, and I congratulate you on that. I wish everybody's goal was to be self-sufficient.
Well, our costs aren't as high as everyone else. Sierra has a hill to climb, so hers are high.
I have a question, Monica.
Yes.
Maybe you have knowledge that I don't, but without any revenue, how do you plan on becoming self-sufficient?
Well, at this point, we've been very fortunate in that we've already received, I should have provided that. I'm sorry. We have already received maybe $3,000 in sponsorships and donations. We've already started asking for that. And so honestly, the way that we plan to do that is just starting early. We should have started earlier than we did now. We already know our lessons, some of our lessons learned. But if our costs to operate are actually very low, our security, by the way, I just based out when Coach Lehman, that was funny, when Chief Lehman was talking about how he calculated the schedule of fees. So that's how I put that number together. But we're very fortunate to have the sponsorships that we need, that we want to ask for donations that are ag oriented, tend to be larger corporations, and they do tend to have a little bit more room. We are already planning for this year to submit a request to all of them to get on their calendar for next year. So that's another lessons we've learned. You got to ask sooner and be part of their budget so you can operate your budget. And so that's just how we're anticipating it. And we're very fortunate where we do have some farmers and some local businesses that said, hey, if you need something, we're here. We're also getting some in-kind donations as well. Cliff's Septic, as you saw, that's been a cost for us. They're doing it in kind. The local not 4-H. Yeah, local 4-H. They are going to be helping us with cleanup. It's just really been turning into a very organized event from a lot of community partnerships and individual partnerships. And we're very happy with that. So I hope that answered the question, George. I'm not sure.
Yes.
But I think I guess the best way to say it is we have faith in the community. We have a lot of good farmers, a lot of good ag companies out there, and a lot of good individuals who believe in keeping this event going. And if we just focus on keeping the cost low and being very effective and fiscally smart, I think we can achieve that every single year.
All right. Sierra, any questions?
No, I don't.
I know I got a request for a sponsorship from you.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Wasn't gonna put you on the spot, but since you
No,
brought it
no,
up.
and I'll support it.
All
Thank
right.
you. sir.
Well,
Thank
with no further questions, let's move on to Miss.
By the way, you're not the only one, Tom. Your neighbor sitting right next to you did too.
There you go.
George got one too.
Let's go on to Miss Sunnyside.
Thank you, everyone.
So, Monica,
Yes, sir.
can you tell us how much they've turned in, I guess, receipt wise this year so far?
For,
Miss Sunnyside?
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. Sorry.
mm,
5,000? 2,500?
So I believe we awarded them 5,000
He goes,
Yeah.
well, last year was 5,000.
and the
And I
request.
thought it saw it in just one check.
do you know what they go by when they get paid? What the,
Probably just Miss Sunnyside Ambassador Program.
I believe that's what it was, Monica. Or maybe it's just Miss Sunnyside.
Miss Sunnyside Committee. And Jafed, they're not online, right? Anybody else like for Miss Sunnyside that might be online?
Oh, in the meeting, you mean?
Yeah, in the meeting.
No.
No?
Monica, if it makes it easier when you're searching for that vendor, they did list their EIN number if it's easier to search that way.
While she finds that, I'll open it up for any questions. I guess any concerns or comments for this event, for this project.
I think my opinion on this is well known.
I mean, I wish they were here. I would want to hear, maybe there's some success stories of what they actually did when they were at these different parades, what kind of advertising they did. I had some suggestions last year, but they're not here to answer any questions. I mean, 16,000 is a lot. In my opinion. Monica, Sierra, any questions?
Oh, go ahead, Sarah. I'm sorry.
No, sorry, and maybe you can help point me to the right page. I am trying to understand what they're hoping to use $16,000 for.
It goes to feed the beast.
I mean, I would say.
While
Under
Sierra's
expense.
Kind of
looking,
general, because when it says funds requested will support the float construction, which last year's was float repair, right? Is
Yeah.
that what they're, if you recall from last
the
year?
float repair that they did get $1,514 for?
Okay. And then scholarships. So they would use LTAC funds to provide scholarships.
Mm.
Or,
It doesn't say it in there.
promotional materials and travel expenses. This is on project information, the page where I see fund requested rule support. And so I guess I do have some questions about that, but I don't think you all would have the answers.
No. Well, since we are gonna come back and discuss, the funding, we could,
That
Let's
is
go
the
through
only
these.
payment I see going to them
how much?
this year, $1,514.
I really thought there was a 5. All the years blend together.
All right. Well, there's no further questions on this one. Let's move on to the next. So do sort for the cause. Any concerns or comments on this particular one?
If I read and I read it last night and might have missed this, but if I read it correctly, is this the last year they're going to do this?
That's what
Is this the last year?
Yeah.
Oh,
it says all over this packet.
Yeah, right. It says
Final year.
Final year.
Wow.
and they're asking for $10,000.
What did they give? What did they receive last year? Does anyone recall?
No, I believe they received less.
500. Yeah. Either 5 or 75.
I mean, they have a beginning cash balance.
Yeah,
They get donations quite a bit. Registration fees, I mean, talk about being self-sufficient. I think this is the one.
Yeah.
they don't need that.
Self-sufficient.
Yeah, I've always been an admirer. I'm like, oh wow, they run a good show.
Their materials say that their goal is to raise $1 million in donations. So.
And they're at 912,000 now, so I think they need another, what, 88?
Mhm.
Maybe that has like one too many zeros. I think it should be 100,000.
I think you're right. I think if you look over a 10-year period,
Oh, for a 10-year period, you're saying like in total.
we-
I see
we-
what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Then yes, they're probably close to that.
All right, so let's go on to the next one. It's I didn't realize it was two different events, but apparently they're doing two events now at the hill climb. So once
Yeah, that
Washington,
confused me too. I was like, what is this?
yeah, Washington Nitro Nationals and American High Hill Climb
one's in
National
May and one's in
Championship.
October.
Yeah, so let's start with Washington Nitros.
I do have just like a general question. Is there a reason why there's two different, it has to be two different organizations? Or are they two different, you should understand, it sounds like the same thing.
They're
was
two
wondering
different events, if I understand it correctly. It's the same organization as Dry Creek ORV LLC, which is asking
Okay.
for, but Washington Nitro Nationals is in May. It's a qualifying event. The Hill Climb National Championship, they have not had before. So this is
Okay.
something that would happen in 2026 for the first time. And if I just read through it, it's the top 16 riders from the West Coast against the top 16 riders from the East Coast in the October event. And the May event, I think, is part of the qualification of those riders, at least from the West Coast.
I mean, this is another self-sufficient event.
Very much so.
Does very well.
I really think with this one, and it is it is self-sufficient. I just think there could be so much potential to really, work with the lodging and as far as like the hotels and the RV parks. And I never knew about this until I started following LTAC. I think this has so much potential to do some, not, they do quite a bit. I see it has a lot of potential to um, generate revenue for LTAC, but I don't know how they do that. Do they stay, since is it one day? Do they stay
I can help you
overnight? Do they
with
stay in
that.
their campers? Tom, do you have info on that?
Yeah, I can help you with that. The majority of the people who attend this event dry camp. And this outfit has a dry camping area and they charge for that. And that's part of their revenues. None of the revenue that they generate is taxed by lodging tax or part of lodging tax. So they don't contribute to the lodging tax fund that the city of Sunnyside has to distribute. And they do have some people who stay in hotels. He went so far as to dig out some folios from the Best Western. He said he got a report from the director of sales showing that there were 25 room nights, which in the grand scheme of things is not a whole lot. I do, they do bring people in from out of the area. They do stay in the hotels. They do. I think there's more impact with restaurants, with food and beverage and gas stations and supermarkets and that sort of thing as people gear up with supplies than there is on the lodging community. And they've been doing this for years, and I can go back and I can see that they have never once come close to selling us out. They just don't have that type of clientele. Some of them will stay in a hotel. Most of them stay and dry camp out at the event location.
Yeah, that's probably part of the draw of it all too, going out camping and riding, and I can see that. I really wonder if, this event could probably do better with working with like economic development, working with the local businesses and to showcase, what they have to offer, bring them into town. And in turn, that could result in maybe some additional sponsorships that they've never even touched on. I really see them as adding to the economic development of Sunnyside. I mean, that's my take on it. I don't know everybody else. I mean,
Well, my take is that there's a lot of potential to develop, some traffic
right?
from their
I
event.
do. Yeah, I see it as a potential to be a great community partnership to help bring in economic growth. Recognize to bring in people that into town for the restaurants, like Tom said. And then that in turn could probably lead to them having a few more sponsors than they did in the past.
Yep. Well, let's move on to the next one, which same organizer, different date. But this is a national championship.
Mhm.
It looks like it's first year, right? First year them doing that. Any comments, concerns? I mean, I like that they're expanding, right? They're bringing more weekends of hill climbing. That's always a good thing.
Well,
I just don't know if we saw the value of what we were hoping to see with the LTAC funds that we gave last year for the Nitro Nationals in the event itself. It seemed to, we were hopeful that it could capture more tourism to
Mhm.
Sunnyside, and I don't know. I'd love to hear from John Nybor on it, because obviously he has a much different perspective of how it went up on the hill, and feedback from people who attended, but
All
I
right.
know we hadn't funded this in the past and I advocated for it last time, and then this year reflecting on it, I don't know if we saw what we were hoping to see with utilizing those funds. Did they seek reimbursement for this, do you know?
Who's that?
Did Nitro Nationals seek reimbursement for their LTAC funding last year? Well, 2025, this year?
I don't see that name on the list.
you
of
see
people that
Dry
receive,
Creek.
Dry Creek
Dry
ORV.
Creek?
no.
You wouldn't see anything from them until sometime probably in June, because their event takes place in May.
Mhm.
Unless he was submitting receipts for advertising that he was doing in advance of the event.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Which I don't think so. I think you have to submit them after your event is over.
Yeah.
I don't know
Mhm.
if you can submit
Yeah.
them in advance, or at least for the experience I've had. We've always waited until after the event. Because that's when services are rendered.
Well, I would say just do the math, $10,000 given to them last year. That requires $250,000 in room revenue. And if you even put $100 a night, that's 2,500 rooms.
We don't have 2,500.
No, you don't. And if you take the 30,000 for each of these events and you double it to 60,000, we're talking $1.5 million in hotel guest room revenue. There's no way they're going to generate that kind of return. So
Right.
they're disproportionate requests at best.
So, just to make sure I'm not missing anyone, right? Do you guys see anybody that we've missed?
I went through my stack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got all of them. You got the ones that I didn't have when I came here too.
So, I guess can this committee commit to meeting? It's gonna have to be not Thanksgiving week, but are you guys able to meet the first week of December? Or else I'm gonna have to keep you guys here until we give some recommendations.
To be
As
honest
long
with
as we
you,
don't meet before Thanksgiving, like last year.
I would prefer to just finish tonight, quite honestly, if we can.
Yeah, I'm making this face because it's just, I'm worried about trying to find time to meet again. But we can attempt to.
You guys want to attempt to make some recommendations tonight?
I would
Yeah,
like
I know
to.
the first week in December,
You could parade.
our organization is planning, but yeah,
Yeah,
we're planning
you're-
for,
you're
and so
not
are
gonna
you,
have time.
Sierra. Yeah, we're like, we got stuff going on.
And I am out of town more than I am in town, and these meetings in the middle of the week, you break it up.
How about our staff, Monica and Jafet? Are you guys good? We probably wouldn't need an hour more.
It's a
I would
great
say
goal,
so,
an
right?
hour more.
If that, yeah,
Yeah.
I think if we just line these out, and I don't
Mhm.
know, Monica, if you have the ability to give us a quick summary of all of these, or if that's something that we just have to, okay, he's got it. That's good.
Yeah, I have a little
Okay,
napkin math.
so let's tackle this.
Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with the parade. That's the first one on my list. Implement parade. We are gonna kind of do it similar to what we did last time. If you guys remember, just want to hear what your guys' recommendations and maybe come to an agreement with an average or something. And we'll take a motion, a second, and a vote.
Before we get started, just because I know I encountered this last year, but when it comes to our request for funding, how would you like us to participate in those discussions? Would you like us
I
to
was gonna just
abstain?
ask the same thing.
Or
Thank
would you like
Sierra.
us to participate? Because it does put the utilizers in a,
The conflict of interest.
yeah, conflict of interest
Yeah.
to make a recommendation on our own. Since we've put together these proposals for you, I think it would be best to abstain. But
I
know
agree. I
last
would
year you
prefer
said,
to.
no, get involved.
No,
So
I
whatever
said
you'd
you
like.
should, you gotta wear two hats, but that's part of the job. I would just vote
Okay.
responsibly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So
Do it.
let's go ahead and start with Monica. Well, that's your event, so I'll leave you.
I have a suggestion on this one. They're asking for 6,500. They asked for 5,000 last year. They want to be self-sustaining. My suggestion is we give them 5,000 again. They don't know what the future holds. They don't even know what the present holds, but
Correct.
that's about as self-sustaining as you can get without saying go down to zero.
Okay. Ms. Foster?
Yeah, I think that's a great recommendation, since there's no historical data to gather from yet because the
Mhm.
event hasn't occurred. And it's close to what they're asking for. I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull up this is the one we have only electronic, right? Because there's a line on there on what at minimum could be used. So I
Oh,
was
did
just
I miss that? Or did I put 5?
You
Sierra?
put 5.
5. So
Okay, yeah.
then that seems what I would
Yeah,
also
we kind of,
recommend.
and
5,000.
full disclosure, we talked about that, and should we ask for more, should we not? Because we really have nothing to go on, and so we thought, 1,500 is fair, but no, we have no objections. We're just, thank you for helping us get this on the ground.
All right, so
So I move that we recommend $5,000.
your second.
I will second it.
Okay.
Okay, just go down the list for a vote. Ms. Foster,
Aye.
Denley,
Yep.
Niemeyer,
Yep,
and I also vote yes. Motion passes at $5,000.
thank you, everyone.
Ms. Sunnyside. Let's start with Ms. Foster and your suggestion on that one.
Um, I don't have a recommended amount that I would suggest, mostly because if they last year's LTAC agreement, they only reimbursed for a little under, I'm sorry, can you repeat the amount? Do you have that on hand?
$1,500,
Yeah,
which you
15.
said.
I think that jump from 1,500 to 16,000 is pretty significant with not enough detail for me to help understand what a good recommendation would be. So at this time, I would not recommend to council awarding them LTAC funds,
So 0.
I was,
but I can be persuaded in this discussion. That's my
Um,
initial thoughts.
Mr. Denley?
as I said, I think my thoughts on this are pretty well known. I would recommend 0 because I do not think it's an appropriate use of LTAC funds. I don't have a problem with any of the work that they do, and I think it's a great civic pride effort. But I think they should look for their funding through sponsorships like all of the other floats in the valley.
Niemeyer?
Yeah, I think we all have the same opinion. This is a tough one. Um, they do, I know they do a lot of good. I'm president of chamber in Grandview, and we work very closely with our court. They've been great in helping us, do a little bit of growth and recognition to our businesses and to our community. And I recognize that. I mean, I recognize the work they do. I just don't see where it falls into the parameters of LTAC, unfortunately. So, you know, it doesn't fit the parameters, but I do agree that the program does need to go on. And you know, unfortunately, just having discussions with the business owners in town about that is probably what they need to do. I mean, I think we all agree it's a great program, but it just does not fall into the parameters of LTAC.
So 0.
Yes, unfortunately.
Well, I like the program. I think it does have a lot of potential to bring in advertisement from other cities, but unfortunately, they're not here to answer any questions as to how it went this past season. We did recommend, I think it was 5,000, and they've only submitted for 1,500. So I really wouldn't want to tie up 16,000 and not fund other projects that are actually turning in the invoices. So I'm gonna fall in line with the committee and recommend 0.
Rick, I just want to say, with that being said, at the next time they apply, if they could um provide a plan or example of how they would be promoting beyond, because they do go beyond the 50-mile radius. I mean, they check all the boxes for the potential of, they just don't have the action within the parameters. Um, that would be great. I mean, I just wish the best for them.
All
To the
right.
point that I think my business is going to reach out, and make a donation. So I feel I gotta tell you.
Thank you, Ms. Niemeyer, for those comments. And I guess motion to not fund is appropriate for this one. Do I hear a motion?
I move no funding to Miss Sunnyside Ambassador Program.
Mayor, second.
I will second.
Niemeyer, second. Let's go down. Foster. Tom.
Yes.
Niemeyer.
Yes.
Also vote yes. Motion passes. Miss Sunnyside is not funded. Sort for the cause. Foster.
I'm very excited for their final year and they're very close to meeting the goal for their donations. We did provide them funding last year. But do we have an understanding of how much they reimbursed for?
So which one was this?
Sort for the cause. I don't know if they have the business name other than that
I think that's what they go for.
ranch.
Go by.
Yeah, Sort for the cause.
4,000?
So they reimbursed 4,000.
I don't know why this thing keeps clicking off. Just one moment. Yeah, it looks like 4,000.
So I wouldn't be opposed to recommending them for some amount of funds, but I would ask that we wait until the end to see what remaining funds we have left, because I would deprioritize them based on their tremendous success of being able to get sponsorships and donations already. They have an established pathway for that.
Tom?
I think those are very wise words, Sierra.
Niemeyer, want to hold it off to the
Yeah,
end?
that sounds great. That's very fair.
So the next one is going to be the show and shine. Sierra?
This was really interesting learning about this and having this presentation tonight. I think they're asking for a little amount and it seems like they bring in a lot of people. The only thing that didn't jive with me was the utilization of the funds. It's not like giving back to the community in some way. It's for, I mean, it is, it's for a senior gathering. So I would love to have some discussion about it before making a recommendation, because I'm interested to learn, since this one's newer to the committee, what everyone's thoughts were on how it applies to these funds.
Okay, Tom?
This is the first time that they've come and asked for funds, and yet they've held this event for how many years now? She said it was
20 something.
predated. So I hate to ask the question this way, but are they just coming because they know there's money here that they can ask for? It doesn't seem like they really need it.
Niemeyer?
My thing, if I'm recalling correctly, didn't they also say that they don't go beyond the 50-mile radius? Didn't she mention that? That they do
Most of
not.
her advertising effort is within the 50-mile radius, and it's boots on the ground, it's posters, it's flyers, it's things being handed out. She did mention Facebook, and she mentioned that that was expensive. And
Facebook's not expensive.
well, I'm not an expert on that, but it didn't sound to me like there was a lot going into that. The problem with this is, first of all, it should generate some heads and beds. Maybe it does. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But if you put $2,000 out there, it takes $50,000 in room revenue to generate that $2,000 in lodging tax, and that's about 400 room nights, which I doubt very much this is going to generate. If the committee feels strongly that they want to try to support this, I'd say support it at a lower level, like maybe $1,000. But the only problem with that is it might encourage somebody to come back the next year and ask for more. And they would need to understand the reason why we're supporting it isn't because we think it's a huge room night generator, but it's a way for us to say there's probably a little bit there, and we want you to continue with this event. It's good for the city.
Yeah, and I like that kind of concept, similar to what we've done in the past for proposals like Miss Sunnyside and Nitro Nationals, is maybe we give them the opportunity to demonstrate with us with the additional funding. Maybe they would advertise more in outside the 50-mile radius if we gave them the opportunity to utilize LTAC funds. And then next year we hope to see that similar to these other groups, that they were able to utilize them in that manner.
She was at least thinking along the right lines when she said do a Friday night cruise, which requires people, if they're coming in town, to stay overnight because the event itself is on Saturday. I like that.
The way I see it is, I mean, $2,000. I'm not gonna say it's little. I mean, these days, any penny counts. But I believe it's her first or second year, and they kind of do have an idea of, they want to grow. They want to bring in more and more people. The cruising was a fabulous idea. I think funding them for the 2,000 and seeing where that takes them, and hopefully next year we could see some real action, and maybe they do have a cruise or they do have a poker run, and end up at a local hotel.
Something a little more measurable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my recommendation is the 2,000. All right, so I'm gonna need your guys' recommendation.
I would agree with that, you know, just let's, let's see the potential that they can offer in bringing them in. I think that's fair
And she
for
does understand
$2,000.
that, it has to go towards advertisement, so, we have a great finance director that's gonna be on top of that, and if it's not for advertisement or if qualifies, it's not gonna be funded.
Hmm.
He's talking to the other Monica right now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The
Yeah, no, I
finan-
agree.
Finance director. So
Oh, I knew
your
that was not
recommendation,
me.
Niemeyer, is the 2?
Yes, I'll second yours, George.
Sierra
I'd recommend 1,000, similar to Tom's comments.
and Tom, thinking it's 1,000?
Yeah, I would agree with 1,000.
That being said, how
Is
about
this
we
where we
meet in
rock,
the
paper,
middle?
scissors?
We Be in the middle at 1,500?
I think
I'm
that-
good with that.
I would move that position.
Okay, I got a
I'm
motion
looking at
by,
Tom's face though.
got a motion by Sierra and a second by, I hear a
Yep.
second? Monica?
Yeah.
All right, Sierra,
Aye.
Tom,
I'm gonna abstain.
Niemeyer?
Yes.
And I myself vote yes, motion passes at 1,500. Ale Fest. I'm gonna start with Tom this time.
So as a signature event, it has potential. I guess the sheer size of the request concerns me, especially given some of the other requests that we have and the pot of dollars that we actually have to award. And, where is it? I gotta find here it is. They got $10,000 last year. They're asking for $25,000 this year, which is not just a little bump, but quite more than double. I would like to encourage them, but I don't see, when you add up all of the other requests, how we're going to do this without dipping into our existing cash balance. And that's one of those things that I think we should do when the situation warrants it. But I think we should be, I'm going to say, frugal stewards and save the money for things that come along that really would benefit tourism if the opportunity is there. And I'll give you an example. Another community, Union Gap, has been banking funds for quite some time, but they have an opportunity to create a new off-ramp, which would open up an area of the town that obviously would help with a number of different things, new businesses and lodging and that sort of thing. And that's something that lodging tax dollars can be used to support, but it's not small dollars. So there may be something like that that comes along for the city of Sunnyside. Maybe it's a couple of roundabouts, who knows, that could be used, that these dollars could be put to use and push something like that through. So that's the only reason why I say don't spend it all just because we have it. Put it in, make decisions, make good stewardship decisions with the funds that we have and the proposals that are in front of us. And if we don't spend it all, we don't spend it all. It's okay.
So
I would look at this and they asked for 10,000 last year. They want to grow the event. They didn't really
I
say,
will say they did actually ask for 20,000 last year. We just gave them.
we gave them 10 and they made it work. So, and they haven't really given us a plan as to how they plan to grow the event. I would say, let's encourage them a little bit and say, here's 15,000, but show us some growth. It's way more than they're going to generate in guest room revenue. I know that.
Okay. Nehemiah?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Put it there and then see what they do. And I still really think they're not including some of their revenue, because I don't see their, I call them drink tickets. What Tom said was more correct, was the script, because the way it looks now is they're losing money on the beer, and I know that can't be right. Um, he did say though that this year was harder for him, but he didn't go into well, he didn't go into detail, and we didn't ask what those challenges were. So I think they've learned what have an ideas of what to do and how to fix that, and we give them the opportunity to make it better.
Are you
So
at
I'm good
15?
with the 15.
Sarah?
I'm comfortable with 15,000. I think, I very much believe in this event. I think it's becoming a very, as I mentioned earlier today, I would support it for signature event. So I would be happy supporting it at any dollar. Like, I think they'll use the funds wisely to promote and bring in people.
So they definitely have room to grow, and hopefully this encourages them. So yeah, I'm good with 15.
And I will move that we recommend $15,000 be made available to the Sunnyside Summer Ale Fest.
Here, second.
Second that.
All right. Ms. Foster,
Aye.
Tom,
Yes.
Nehemiah? She left us.
You left this. Uh-oh.
Hmm,
Did we lose our quorum?
no, we have quorum with 3.
Okay.
I myself and just for the sake of time, we're gonna keep going, so motion passes.
Okay.
Sorry, Amazon knocked at the door.
All right, well, motion passed,
15?
yeah, we'll keep going.
Excellent, thank you.
Hill climb, American hill climb.
Oh, man.
Start with Nehemiah.
Yeah, thank you. Um, I I really like these ideas. I think they're good for economic prosperity in Sunnyside. I think it can add a great value to it. It's just one of those where I like it. It sounds fun. It sounds like a great time, but it doesn't fit into the parameters of LTAC, and that's the unfortunate part. I do think them creating, like I said, community partnerships and maybe reaching out to economic development for help in making um, those connections to work with the local businesses would help them and help our downtown. And maybe when they did that, we could see some measured growth that way, because they dry camp, we won't see it that way. And um, maybe we could find out a little bit more of what they do and help in some other way, but they just don't meet the parameters, unfortunately, and I feel so bad, but that's my take. So it's a no on both of them, unfortunately.
Okay, put you down for 0. Sarah?
My only, and I'm sorry that I'm like looking at them together, but my only 2 cents was that if we were going to support one, I would recommend supporting the new one. Because then they, they have an established one that's clearly self-sufficient. And if we were going to try to go off of our philosophy of trying to start some initiatives to bring more tourism in, that maybe we could then justify some funding from LTAC for the American Hill Climb is the new one, I believe. But I don't know what the appropriate amount would be. Last year, we gave him some funds, but we can't,
10,000.
10,000, and he was reimbursed 10,000?
Yep.
Okay. So he utilized it, which is also good because not every entity is utilizing the funds. So I would recommend we consider American Hill Climb giving them $10,000, which is a fraction of what they asked. But similar to Sort for a Cause, sorry, I would deprioritize it. So if we get down to a crunch where we're now surpassing our total amount, I would reevaluate that recommendation.
Tom?
Uh, I don't think he needs the funds. I think he asks for them because he knows the money is there. And the dollar amounts that are requested are disproportionate to the impact that they possibly could have on lodging revenues. So but I do, you make a good point, Sierra. If he's got a new event and he's brought a new event to us and we've asked him to do that, that maybe we should fund him something. And I would suggest we fund him $2,500. $2,500 is going to be, let's see. It's going to be $62,000 of room revenue, which I doubt it will bring in, but it will at least send the message that you did what we asked. Good job.
Okay. I can agree with both of you, and I'm actually looking more at $5,000, just because it is a new event, and we did ask for a new event. It's not a
So
new
did we
event.
ask him that? I'm sorry to interrupt. Was
Well,
that
we
an ask last year?
for a new event
Growth.
for growth, yeah.
Okay.
Every year,
Every-
Monica.
Yeah.
Every year that he comes and he asks for very large dollar amounts, and
Mhm.
we've said, you've only asked for large dollar amounts for one event, show us some growth. So he's at least showing some growth.
Okay.
So we're pretty far apart, 10,000, 2.5 and 5. Can we come to an agreement in the middle?
I have a reluctance to fund more just because he doesn't need it, and we have other things that do. So that's and it's not that he doesn't bring people into town, but they don't spend a lot of money here, maybe at the grocery and restaurants and that sort of thing, but not at the hotels. And he doesn't need it. He does quite well.
How do you guys want to handle this one?
Can we not, because I just keep meaning to kick all the cans down the road, but could we table the discussion until we get through some more? And as we get closer to our final total, come back to,
That one?
or would that not change your perception of it though, Tom?
It's not, no.
okay.
But I have a feeling it
so
could
then-
change your perception.
Yeah, I think I would be agreeable to a lower amount if that's what the committee could come to an agreement on.
Well, let's put that one on the burner. Washington Hill Climb. That one I could start. That one I believe is self-sufficient, and I'm gonna recommend 0. And Niemeyer,
I would agree with that. Thank you. Thank you.
Sierra,
Agree with 0.
Tom,
Yep. Nitro Nationals, 0.
anybody make a motion on that?
I will move that no funding be recommended for the Washington Nitro Nationals in May.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, Sierra,
Aye.
Tom,
Yes.
Monica,
Yes.
myself, yes, motion passes, 0 funding. Cinco de Mayo. They're asking for 30. Let's start with Tom.
Hey, let me just,
Do your math.
so. $3,000. I mean, this is our primary signature event. I say take the money and run and blow it up as big as you possibly can. Because this is the sort of thing that can be part of the basis of who Sunnyside is to the state of Washington and to the watching world. And I can't reinforce it enough. We have the largest per capita Hispanic population of any community in the state. And this is celebration of it. Don't run from it, run into it.
There you go. So your recommendation is
Full amount.
full amount. Niemeyer,
Um, I, I think if we did the full amount, I would really like, and actually for all of the programs, to start seeing something a little more, um, being able to see something a little more measurable. You know, we don't have the past information to look and see how they did. Um, I would like to see, this is such a large event, I agree, and it does very well. So I'm very stumped by how their donations are, you know, their sponsorship is only at 5,000. I would like to see more sponsorship. It is a big community event, and so I think that they could be raising more money through sponsorship. I would like to see that a little bit more. And as an LTAC, and just in these larger events, have a little bit better breakdown from the prior year to see how, you know, everything was done and was spent, and where we could, you know, give them some suggestions and guidance, and be, you know, we're not just there to give them money. We could be a knowledge of a resource. You know, Tom and Sierra and you, George, have all come up with really good ideas. And I think by breaking down the information a little bit better, carrying on to the next year would help us make a better decision and give them a little bit, get all of us a little bit of guidance. And I'm not saying to pick on this one, but just, but I am surprised that the sponsorship is so low. I think they're missing out on an opportunity to have even a larger balance to work with, even more revenue. But if the consensus is 30, absolutely, I'll go with that.
Okay. Sarah?
30,000.
And I myself also was gonna recommend 30. But I would want to see a little bit more, I guess, preparedness. I know Pasco last year blew it out of the water. They had an
Mhm.
awesome lineup with performers, and they were advertising. You know, they were advertising when we were selecting.
Don't let them steal it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't let them have it. So that is why I'm.
We've had people
Recommend
steal our
30.
lighted farm implement parade. It's just
Mhm.
frustrating.
So can I get a motion?
I would move that we fund this at the $30,000 level.
Any a second? I'll second.
I'll second. Okay.
Okay.
One more comment.
go ahead.
In the past, I have suggested that one of the things that they could do that would enhance the attendance would be to reenact the Battle of Puebla. It could be a black powder. I mean, people love those kinds of things.
Maybe during the parade too, huh?
There's a lot of ways to do it, but you need to get the high school history teacher and the high school students involved in this.
Yeah.
Let them learn something out of it. You know, use the money, buy uniforms. You could have a ton of fun with this.
And that would separate us out from Pasco too.
You better
Do
believe it
something
would.
that separate. Yeah.
All right. Sierra?
Aye.
Tom?
Yes.
Emeyer?
Yes.
I myself would, yes, motion passes. Sunshine Days, they're asking for 20. Start with Monica.
Um, I think back again on on these larger signature events. I think us getting information on what they did in the previous year, so we kind of have a history of how they're spending and planning. I think is a fair ask. We should be there to help them as much as just give them money. Um, and let me see. I was kind of looking at something else here. Yeah, because once again, Sunshine Days is a $5,000 sponsorship compared to Cinco de Mayo. And now everyone knows that Cinco de Mayo is the larger event, and yet the sponsorship just isn't there. I think they're losing out on revenue for themselves to have some additional cash flow. I would like to see that. And I guess what I'm just saying is for these larger signature events, I would like to see a breakdown for us to compare for next year. And that's not on them. I mean, they do everything that they need, just it being provided to us for the next year. And but 20,000. So we're looking at We're looking at $50,000 on these two events. So I would really, really like to see us put in place measurements of success to know that $50,000 is working for our community. That's my thing.
Is that your recommendation, Tony?
20's good. I guess I'm just airing out my
Okay, Tom?
my concerns.
I guess my question is for Sierra, and you may not be able to answer this, but it's a touchy-feely question. This event is like a phoenix rising from the ashes. How is it going?
I think to answer your question on a little bit of Monica's question, part of our challenge is volunteers. To be able to go out and get sponsorships and to be able to make these events happen is so dependent on dedicated community volunteers putting on the event. And so I think in this next year, we can strive to do more and continue that rise. But I wouldn't say we're like the glorious phoenix coming out yet. I think this event has significant potential and we're excited to continue growing forward with it.
And so I guess to paraphrase, you believe the energy is there to move it forward.
I do. Yes.
Okay, because I'm laissez-faire. I'm hands off on it, so I can't answer that question. All right, I would say take the 20,000. Make it happen.
My thing, you guys had me yet last year with the soapbox derby. I was kind of excited to build one, with one of my kids, and it didn't happen. I really do see an opportunity to make it a lot bigger, like Tom said, a food event, competition event, bring in more teams from outside of the valley. So I really hope with 20,000, you guys can make it happen. So that's my recommendation.
So with putting all these plans together for these events and the acknowledgement that you're struggling with volunteers, do you guys have a plan to kind of do that? Because you guys can only pull off with what you can work with, with the energy you guys, with the people that you guys have. And it'd be very unfortunate that you couldn't hit the mark because of that. So do you guys have a plan for that, Sierra? And try to pull in
Yes.
more?
Yeah. Actually, we're meeting next Monday to talk about membership growth and development. So, yep.
Okay, great.
All right. So, Sarah, I'm just going to assume you're going to say 20.
Yes, I will say. Yes. Thank you.
All right. So can I get a motion on this?
I think you've got a member in the audience who wants to speak up.
Yes, Tom, you got a minute.
Tom is still there.
Monica.
Yes, sir.
I just.
Oh, wait, which Monica? Sorry.
2 cents, and I think that, both of you. I think that, we have a brand new skate park down there. You should utilize that and have a skate park or a skating.
Competition?
Yeah,
Oh.
competition there
Yeah.
during sunshine days, and we probably have a real.
Yeah. Thank you for your comment.
I didn't hear
I'll
any of
just-
that. Was it
and I'll
which
just-
Monica?
Both of them
Sorry.
at the end, he said.
I'll plug Rotary. We meet every Monday at noon. So as we begin planning these events, we love community participation for whoever's watching this recording later on to Monday at noon at the Sunnyside Hospital.
All right. So
Yep.
can I get a motion for this event?
I will move that we recommend funding of $20,000 for Sunshine Days.
I hear a second.
Second.
I'll second, or unless Sarah did.
All right. Sierra?
Aye.
Tom?
Yes.
Monica?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes.
Okay.
Veterans Plaza. Start with Tom.
The only concern I have with this is I wonder if, I mean, they're talking about creating an event, a Boston Tea Party reenactment. Good deal. There are so many other things that they could do that would, I know, bring people in, but I don't know if that's being picked up on. That's my only concern. And I don't think the fellow Greg is the guy who's going to do it. I think it's going to be some of the younger members of the post. So I believe very strongly, this is an asset. This thing doesn't disappear. I believe very strongly that we should fund this and complete the asset, but I really would like to see a plan for greater utilization of the asset. And that's going to require some, so it's going to require some fire coming from somebody or some group of somebodies in the American Legion. And maybe the way to do it is to not just confine it to Sunnyside, but to ask the legions up and down the valley. Prosser, I know Prosser has active American Legion, and I think there's some in other areas, but no one has the asset that Sunnyside has.
Yep.
So my suggestion is fund it, and I don't know how to tag a caveat on it, but it somehow energy needs to be put into utilizing this asset for the purpose for which it's intended.
Do you have a number?
$10,000.
10,000? Sierra?
This is different than I think some of the other requests I've seen since joining LTAC, and I like the spirit of giving it a shot to see how they can work to build a event around Patriots Day in 2026. And so based on the total amounts that we've awarded so far, I think providing them the amount they requested is within our scope still. So I would agree that $10,000, yes.
Monica?
I agree. I agree with Tom. It can bring in a lot of potential, not just to Sunnyside, but the Lower Valley. I was kind of thinking that some of the things that they could do along with American Legion, there's the VFW. I think they could also work in partnerships with the local museums, work together to talk about, the history and partner with, like in Grandview, we have, we do a video on the history of Grandview, and working with the museums and throughout the valley and just kind of showcasing that, and if there's different interest points within the valley, they could all work together and say, start in Yakima and go boom 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 boom, and pretty soon we've got people interested in stopping throughout the valley to learn a little bit about the history. I think I mean, those are just ideas, but I agree. I think there's a lot of potential because people really love to learn about where they came from, and just the reenactments are fun, and they bring in tourism. So I think if they just find the right group to work with and get on the right path, it would be something great, not just for Sunnyside, but up and down the valley. I think it's a great idea.
Okay. And I
I'm
agree
also
with, for the 10, right?
yes, sir.
So I agree with all three of you. We're at the finish line, or they're at the finish line with this project. So let's help them get there, and let's get some of these events. I don't know when they meet, but if they allow, I guess, guests to help out, volunteer, I would suggest getting a hold of them. So can I get a motion on this?
I move that we recommend funding at $10,000 for the Jerry Taylor Plaza.
Get a second?
A second.
Okay, Sierra? Tom?
Yes.
Monica?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes.
Where are we at? We got 60,
We-
75, 80,
81,000.
81.5.
We're doing good.
So you had mentioned, Sierra, that we did not see anything from Yakima Valley Tourism.
Correct.
And we don't have, at least at this point in time, any idea how our digital presence is being handled, do we?
I only have understanding from how they've been assisting with our signature events, and so I do know they're making those short form videos. I've seen those on Facebook, and they are producing materials, but I don't know enough about how that's all going. And if Jackie was here with us, I'm sure she would be able to share a lot more about how they've been
Yeah.
functioning.
Are you familiar with that project? Can you share a little bit on that and how much, I guess, so far the city has spent?
We just paid another invoice for $5,389.
That was one of our largest
It was
Yes.
huge, yeah. Is this something that was set up by the previous city administrator?
It looks like there's been
yes.
six payments made to them for monthly marketing is what it's called. And it's $5,389 for well, it looks like not always. There was a monthly consulting fee in April for $3,500. And then they charged the May and June marketing for $10,778. And then July marketing, 5,389. August and September. And then it looks like October.
Same 5389.
Yes.
And this is,
So
I
if-
guess.
Go ahead,
this
I'm
is
sorry,
a
Tom.
This is a contract that was signed between the previous city administrator and this company.
Correct. It was
And what's the name of the
the
company
city
again?
manager.
Yes, Wasco.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, Wasco.
yes, Wasco. Not familiar with them.
They're out of Pasco, I believe.
So,
They're a division of Pixelsoft.
okay, but do we have something for 2026?
No, they didn't submit. They didn't submit anything, nor the city.
So neither did Yakima Valley Tourism,
Correct.
because I think they recognized that there was no opportunity for them in 2025 and they've been quiet. And I think we need to at least
Have some.
reserve some funds for that, because otherwise we're gonna go dark.
Well, it looks like the city's gonna be way under budget from the 100,000 that we allocated.
I'm also wondering, maybe we should review that contract. Was that a 1-year term? Was that a 2-year term? Was it, I remember looking at the contract and it actually was, to be honest, I thought it was a quote when you pull it up.
Well, just like every other event, the city needs to use these funds in 2025.
No, I agree with you. My question is, because they haven't applied, while we agree and know how it works, what is it that they were offered and what is it that they're assuming? And maybe that's why they haven't. So maybe
Well-
taking a look at the contract offered to them is something we should, just to see what the city is liable for, is the point I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, I understand that fact, but they didn't apply directly to LTAC funds. The city of Sunnyside applied for the LTAC funds, and LTAC funds were given directly to the city. So it wasn't like that organization applied directly to LTAC.
I thought I remembered them.
Well, we did initially
the-
have, the LTAC met last year and we did initially receive requests for funding, proposals from
Yeah,
marketing groups. And then we had a discussion as a committee that we would rather have the city and their management scope make the determinations on how they want to utilize those funds,
okay.
but not directly award one group.
Or the other.
Do you recall that, Tom?
Yeah.
Maybe what?
Yeah, but to a certain extent, it became very contingent on the work of the city manager. He was supposed to oversee this
Mhm.
and direct it.
Mhm.
And now, we're kind of at a loss because he's no longer here. What did he do? What are we living with right now? And probably more importantly, what are we going to do in 2026? Because it's a hole right now in the plan that we don't have filled.
Actually, I have another question on that though. Monica, when the 100,000 was it 100,000 given to them? Was that 100,000 actually moved over to the general fund? Meaning, is there still money left? Or is it taken out every month from the LTAC fund? How did that work? So if money was moved and they've only spent, let's say it was 100,000, but they've only spent 35, then we have some left over. you know
From
how
what I
that
can see,
works?
no money was removed from the LTAC fund. It's when they're getting paid directly out of LTAC funds.
Okay. And then they had an assigned budget for that amount?
I'm assuming that it was from their contracted amount, so.
It wasn't set up as a restricted fund.
I'm not sure how they set it up. It just comes direct, when they get paid, it comes directly out of this account.
Okay.
Well, let's continue with what we have tonight.
I appreciate the reminder to keep that buffer in mind.
Yeah.
We
So,
have two that we put off to the side.
yeah, let's do sort for the cause.
And how much do we have left? Where are we at again?
We are at
5.
81, 81.5.
That's what it's 50, 60. Whoops, hang on just a second.
I asked if we're at 81,500
Yeah.
based on my math, and we
That's what I'm
started off
saying.
with a total budget plan of 120,000.
So let's sort for the cause. Let's start with this here.
Yes, and so thanks for holding on this one. As we circle back, I would recommend that we provide them the same amount we did last year, which was $4,000.
4,000. Tom?
Given the fact that this is their theoretically last request, I'll go along with that.
Monica?
They are very self-sufficient,
Yeah,
but
they don't need a dime from us.
yeah. But but I do see where they say that, they do have lodging coming in, and it being their last year, if we could help them hit that mark, great, but I gotta be honest, at the same time though, how I viewed the other ones has been a little bit more firm. They didn't fall into the parameters, they were self-sufficient. I guess at the concessions I make, I want it to be fair. So we gave them 4,000 last year.
Yeah.
Monica, I don't have a problem with saying you guys have done a great job through the years and you have the funds. So we'll keep our powder dry and not fund you at all. I don't have a problem with that either. And
Yeah,
frankly, you're right. It's a little bit more, it's a little bit more consistent with the way that we've been evaluating the others.
Yeah. I mean, I really want to say yes, because it's a great thing. The emotional part of me wants to say yes, but there's others that we said no to, and they didn't get to pull on the heartstrings. And so I just want to be fair and consistent. So I'm gonna say no. They're very self-sufficient. I applaud everything they've done. And once again, I think it's great. It just doesn't fall into the parameters, and we need to be very mindful of our spending, and doesn't meet that. So I feel like a horrible person, but I got to be consistent.
Don't fall on the sword, Saul.
All right. So I'm gonna say no as well. 0. They're really self-sufficient. We got to make decisions based on facts. I don't like making decisions based on emotions.
Yeah.
But they've done great over the years. And I wish them the best. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna have a successful last year. So that being said,
Okay.
your motion.
I will move that no funding of Sort for the Cause be recommended.
The second.
Second.
Okay. So take a vote. Sierra,
Aye.
Tom,
Yes.
Monica.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion passes. No funding for Sort for the Cause.
And then on another note, I was thinking this, I should have said it. And also on another note, that leaves us money to make a plan for, what Tom brought up, that we have this gap and what's going to happen for 2026.
Mhm.
So this makes sure that we protect what we're supposed to do as LTAC, and have money set aside to meet what we need to do.
Thank you for your comments. Just keep in mind, next year you'll have different counselors, so hold their feet to the fire.
So,
All right.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Does that mean the mayor will have another council person rather than you chairing this committee?
possibility?
Yeah,
Yes.
somebody else is gonna be chairing this committee.
Can we recommend continuity?
I could bring it up. We recommended it last year, this my
Is-
second year, but I'll bring it up.
I would second that recommendation. I think
Mhm.
having the continued, we meet so infrequently that if we could advocate to have you continue
back?
to chair.
Yeah, it just really helps.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll bring it up when those decisions come before council.
George,
Unless-
I'd even go as far as just writing a letter from my position on the committee that we just need, yeah, we just need some continuity. Tom put it best. Everything's been so up in the air and, we're in charge of, looking over money and being in charge that being good stewards, as he said, that the things are done the right way. And I'd be more than happy to write a letter asking for that consideration.
I appreciate it. And yeah, if they agree, I'll be more than happy to continue serving.
I was gonna say, we're assuming you want it.
I'll continue doing
I
it.
guess we didn't give him a choice, did we?
I kind of boxed him in.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that.
All right, let's
That's called negotiation.
yeah, last one. American Hill Climb, a new event, asking for 30,000. Sierra, last we spoke a few minutes ago, was at 10. Tom at 2.5. I was at 5. Nehemiah was at 0. So what can we come to?
So I'm going to throw this out. I'm just the worst person. I'm going to throw this out there. Being that it's the same organization and we know that they end in a positive and we know they're sustainable, if this is a project that means a lot to them, they could also invest in that, as well for it to be successful. And they have the funds to do it. Going just based off that they did something new and we should give them funds, it's just it's not the right reason. It's just not, I'm sorry, it's just not the right reason. I want everybody to get all the sponsorship in the world that they deserve, but it's just not the right reason. I am sorry.
I'm still at the 5. I mean, it's a new event. It's in October. We don't have anything in October right now. So, I mean, it would be great for the hotels, motels. I think it's off season, right? October.
You still have some
Yeah.
harvest activity.
Okay. But
But is it also
Yeah.
dry camp like the other one? I guess I should have asked
It's
that.
exactly the same thing.
yeah.
Well,
Exactly
and
the same thing.
and we still have to keep in mind in our budget, we have to find a place that's going to help us with our marketing. So I think we need to, I feel so bad. I think we need to look at the reality of where we are as LTAC, what's more important. This new project that is held by an organization that has startup funds that could invest in itself and contribute, or making sure that we have the right player in place to help us promote the events that we're investing in. I think that's the reality of it. It sounds harsh, but to me, that is the reality of it. Where are our funds best used? Sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's a good opinion.
So, committee?
I'm supportive of the $5,000, but I was supportive of more, so we can agree on different points here. But I do align with Deputy Mayor's position on filling that October opportunity. And again, I think if we can support some of this activity in a much smaller amount than he's requesting in total, I think it's worthwhile. It's a big event and brings tax revenue in different areas because of sales tax, and potentially we're just not seeing it in the lodging tax. It doesn't mean that it wouldn't be worthwhile to still consider supporting it.
Yeah.
But I'm of course going to be supportive of where the committee lands to recommend to council.
So, Monica, you have made, I think, a very good case for not funding this at all. The only reason that I think some funding should be given to this is because he did what the committee asked him to do. And the committee asked him to create a new event and then come and ask for funds. And I think they have enough funds of their own to make the event successful. But I think from an integrity perspective, at least from my integrity perspective, he did what we asked him to do.
Mhm.
And I would like to acknowledge that. That much said, whatever funding we do give him, I would also say, please don't ever come back and ask again, because you don't need it. But you did what we asked you to do, and that's. I think it's important for us to keep our word.
I think that's really important, because next time this committee asks for a new event, who's gonna believe us?
Right. So.
Well, then I think we also need to be very mindful of our words too, and the commitment that we're asking, because we're saying that if you do this, we're gonna give you money. And so I think we need to be just as mindful in our words.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're right. I have not been a particular fan of any of these events just because I know they make a ton of money. But as I said, we did say, create a new event and we will consider funding. And he's created a new event. And so I think we should consider funding.
Okay.
I don't think
And I wish it
$5,000 is right,
amazing
but
success.
yeah, I would, and I don't know if we can do this, if we can say, here's $5,000, please do not ever come back and ask again.
I don't know
What's
if
on
we
the
could do
record?
that. I don't, only by one of us though. Let's just make.
That's right. And you can put my name right next to it. John and I we're fast friends.
So, that being said, can I get a motion? I mean, can we meet in the middle maybe?
I would move that we fund this $5,000.
Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Got it. Let's take a vote. Sierra,
Aye.
Tom,
Yes.
Monica.
You can say no. It's okay.
I think because of the promise made last year, I'm gonna abstain because I
Okay.
wasn't there, and to be fair, I'm just gonna abstain.
Okay, and I'm gonna go yes, motion passes with 5,000. Well, 3.5 hours later, we are done. And I'll
And on
get
a side
this-
note, I've made a list of donations that my business is gonna be sending money to. So,
Can I give you
because if
guys
you're
a
gonna be a
quick
good steward,
finance
that's what you
update?
get.
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
I'm going to look at this from a finance point of view. So when we collect our taxes, we are always 2 months behind in collections. So what's happening in October, we're not going to collect until December.
Mhm.
And when I look at the revenues coming in, the lowest month that we collect is in March. So that means in January, there's nothing really going on sustainable that's collecting.
That's right.
And then in August is when our highest collection is. So that means June is when the most activity is happening. When you're looking at that and you're encouraging people to have some new events, try and encourage things to happen during those months that are not as sustainable, because then we know the events are not happening, but we're trying to get events during that time. Year to date, right now, and this is through October, the LTAC has brought in $110,945.16.
Revenue this year.
Yes,
That represents through August. You still have September and
right. So that'd be monies collected in October. So that's through what's happened in August.
Okay.
you
I find it
will
very
get some more.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I find it very interesting. Our strongest month is a month where we have no signature event. So I'm wondering what's driving that in June. That's
Well,
that's interesting.
I mean, it's AleFest. I mean, AleFest is.
gonna say,
Oh, is it June? Is it AleFest? I'm sorry.
For AleFest.
Oh, I was like, I guess I
Yeah.
just admitted I've never attended AleFest then because I didn't even recognize.
Yeah, AleFest happens. in
School's out for summer, Monica.
July, going to visit.
That's what's
right.
going on.
Well, I will say the second is the second highest month is July. So that would be May. And so May is,
Cinco.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Cinco,
Cinco de
yeah.
Mayo. And so
May and June.
then that's also the the June and then July, but August is the highest month.
I have a comment, and I was a little bit surprised that we didn't see an application from the group that is putting on all of those AAU basketball events, because those are spread throughout the year, and those do bring people in from out of town.
Yep.
And I don't know if somebody can reach out to them, because we're going to have to reach out to some marketing organizations and get some proposals from them. Otherwise, we're not gonna have anything in 2026.
If I recall right, and you guys might remember, Tom would know the best. Haven't we always struggled in getting like the full information? I remember Jackie saying we've only gotten this much, we're not getting that much. Is that correct? Getting a full package from them?
It is true. I think to a certain extent, the information has been nitpicked so much that the individual doesn't have a lot of time and has just said, forget it, I'm not going to bother. I don't know if he is still putting on the events, but if I had an opportunity to speak with him, I would encourage him and say, there is funding available for what you do. It makes a lot of sense. It fits all the LTAC criteria. You just need to put your paperwork together and come ask.
I agree. Well, committee, it's been a long afternoon. We're going on to 3.5 hours. Is there anything else to come before this committee?
What are our next steps? Not with this, but as LTAC in general. When do you anticipate we'll convene again?
Well, new council make a decision as to who's gonna be here. I'll find my best to stay on, but it ultimately up to council as a full. That decision is gonna probably be the first or second week of January. And then after that, we can possibly meet at the end of January and see where we're at with the budget and how much money has been paid out for 2025, and go from there.
So is somebody going to request proposals from marketing organizations so that we know we have some sort of digital representation in 2026?
We could definitely bring that up at our first meeting of 2026 to move to open it.
I mean, if January 1 happens and we're dark, then we might have a problem. I don't know what the contract that is signed and being executed by the vendor right now states. If you could, that would be very
You
helpful.
could send us their contract, that'd be awesome. All right, well, if there's nothing further, I adjourn this meeting at, was it 7:26 p.m.?